Hey man, I got that new TMX Thrustmaster wheel. It's going down.
Xbox One?
I can't wait to play when I get home.
You'll let me play?
Yeah, I play first. No.
No, I'll race it for it.
Well, I have a hand.
Keep it up.
Whoa, great! Oh no, big mistake! I had to go back and down to no, recovery.
It has been an absolutely astonishing season.
Hello everybody and welcome to Formula Sim Racing, where we are at the Magny-Cours. What a way to start. We're at the Paul Ricard circuit for round 3 of the FSR 2018 World Championship. It's an interesting track. It's a hilly track. It's a track where we may see a new winner in the World Championship. We've already had Simoncic win a race. We have had D'Alessandro win a race. Who is going to take pole and who is going to take the victory today? We've got a 5.8 kilometre circuit with 53 laps and 15 turns on each time around the circuit. I'm Dave Paling, and joining me in the commentary box today is a good friend of mine, David O'Reilly. Mr. O'Reilly, how are you this afternoon?
Oui, bonjour, ça va? Bienvenue en France pour la 3e round of the Formula Sim Racing World Championship. That was a bit of French from an Australian. Very pleased to be here, Dave. Looking forward to an exciting race. We've got 25 superb drivers on the grid, including 2 world champions in Mohamed Patel and Peter Briac. So a glittering grid, very challenging technical track, and I'm looking forward to the race.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Yerni Simoncic has had 2 pole positions from 2 races so far. See if you can make it 3 out of 3. Now, Dave, I know you've done a bit of commentary around here today, and I've done a race around here today as we do have a driver starting his first flying lap. Now, the drivers are going to have 12 laps, and the tyres available today are the super soft and medium compound tyres. They can use all of the tyres if they wish, but they have to at least use 2. And tyre strategy could be absolutely crucial around this circuit. One driver's got a back of the grid penalty, I believe. That's James Sadler. He'll be starting from the pit lane. But Dave, what is it you're going to be looking for today when it comes to the battle for the victory?
Well, I think as a track and as a race, I think this delivers it all. I mean, I've got to confess, it's not the most exciting track to go and practice. It hasn't got the ambience of a Monza or a Spa or a Monaco. But as a driver challenge, it's got it all. It's a very complicated complexes, very complicated sectors that require, you know, moments where you're going for it, moments where you've got to manage tyres. The car setup has got to be absolutely bang on. And I think the race here, we've seen the last 2 races featured a lot of battles, a lot of overtaking opportunities, strategy and pure pace, everything was involved. So I think it's a track that delivers everything, Dave.
It definitely does, and the way you can approach qualifying, you can approach it very, very aggressively. You don't have to worry too much about the tyres, but in the race you can't attack some of these corners because your stint lengths will just become way too short. I'm just keeping an eye on David Greco at the moment. He had popped in a purple sector 1, but he has been beaten in sector 1 by Jim Paresis. But Greco is about to cross the finish line now, and where is he going to put himself? He puts himself provisional pole position with a 125.9. Just to let you know, Jim Paresis is going purple sector 1, and in practice, Dave, you mentioned to us
he's gone
quite a
quicker
few
than
drivers.
Greco in sector 2 as well. Sorry, Dave, just to update you.
No worries, fantastic stuff. Yeah, so I'm keeping an eye on Jim Paresis now. But yeah, in practice, mid 125s, the drivers were doing, or a few of them were doing. Let's see how Jim is going to get on as he crosses the line.
He's got a little bit of throttle oversteer exiting the final corner, which did cost him probably a third of a second, I'd have thought. So, yeah, he's P2 for the moment.
That he is. I'm just going to have a quick look. Is Michele D'Alessandro. Michele D'Alessandro is just starting his flying lap. Now, he did take the victory last time out in Bahrain. Worked a strategy very, very nicely. Let's see how he gets on around the Paul Ricard circuit. Heading into turn 3. An interesting little complex of corners where you just have to keep slowing the car down, and make sure you get this exit absolutely spot on. The car now wants to collide. The rear wants to step out on you. And now you can release full beans. Open the DRS wing.
Zapala on pole, provisional.
Yeah, he is. He's very close up at the top at the moment. So let's see, Michele D'Alessandro, what speed is he getting up to? 327 kilometres an hour. I think that's running perhaps lower wing than some may use here today. We're quite nicely through the chicane there. I must admit, I'd have been tempted to not have the chicane around this track, but what am I just like high-speed action through the flat-out kink. Car's looking very balanced for him, Dave.
Yeah, indeed, and funny you should say that the Mistral straight, if the chicane wasn't in there, it would totally change the setup for this track, wouldn't it? Because it would be such a long straight, you'd have to go much lower on downforce.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it totally changes the complexion of this race. Interesting little bit of trivia in Pro, the pole time was a 1:26 and a bit. In Ace, one driver, Robin Pansar, dropped into the 1:25s. But just in practice, we had 7 of the World Championship drivers get into the 1:25s. And I think that's the thing, if you're considering coming and having a go at Formula Sim Racing, the guys at the pointy end of Pro are just about as quick as the guys in WC. But the thing about in WC, everybody's quick.
Yeah, and the thing about WC as well, it's that consistency of pace. Michele D'Alessandro did go pole with a 125.5. I'm just having a look at Yerni Simicic, who is about to start a flying lap.
Masculi's just had quite a nice lap as well, but let himself down in Sector 2 and Sector 3 a little bit.
Okay, Yerni Simicic then firing away down the start-finish straight. DRS will be wide open. And these first 2 turns, tricky little corners, you can gain so much time here. Let's see how committed Yerni is. Oh, very committed, as the rear end wanted to step out on him. But I do know that Yerni does like a car where the rear end is a little bit loose for him. Getting the car slowed down now, taking a very tight entry. That could compromise his exit. I don't think he's going to have the best of Sector 1 times here unless he was able to fully carry the speed through those corners. DRS open again. Let's see what his top speed is going to be like. We saw Michele D'Alessandro do 327 kilometres an hour. And Yerni Simicic, 324 he managed to touch. Oh, using a lot of curb there. That's put him out of shape. The rear's going to go. And it's a little too aggressive for Yerni Simicic.
The bollard was threatening to enter the cockpit then.
Needs a halo. Needs a halo.
Got PBs on Sector 1 and Sector 2. Yeah, good call for a halo there.
So Pedebrelliak coming into the final corner then. Looks like he took it very patiently through there, but very aggressive on the throttle out of the corner. Crosses the line, puts himself P5. Now Michele D'Alessandro's got a 4/10 gap up at the front at the moment. Just cut down to 2/10 because Michi Hoyer has popped himself into second place.
Yeah, I've got the feeling that the top 5 will tighten up a bit, as you say. I mean, the half a second between the top 5 just intuitively seems a little bit too much. But of course, most of them, they've all just had one hot lap. So they'll start to dial this in. Some of these guys would have put bankers in. So Journey's on his way out again. So in terms of managing the car on the outlap, the guys are here probably using a slightly lesser fuel mode while they get the tyres hot, the brakes hot, get everything warmed up and everything dialed in. And then just prior to the final corner on the track, they've got to turn the fuel mix up to 7, turn the quali boost on, adjust their brake balance, maybe their anti-roll bar, and then give it the full beans down the pit straight. You almost need an engineering degree to drive a lap in these cars.
You're not wrong there. David Greco just crossed in the line and managed to put himself in P4. It wasn't the best of Sector 1s, but he's made it up for it in Sector 2 and Sector 3. Germano Zappala has done a pretty good Sector 1 time, a 35.2. I've just jumped on board with him as he spins out towards the barriers. That's his lap over.
So Simoncic just coming around now through the final sector. Bringing his tyres in quite gently, leaving as much life as he can in them while still getting them warm. And he's now approaching the final turn. It's tighter than 90 degrees this turn onto the pit straight. DRS open, full throttle, full boost, mix 7, and we'll see how committed Journey Simoncic is to his to put a time on the board.
Well, I'm just keeping an eye on Michele D'Alessandro while you're watching Journey Simoncic there.
No
Michele's gone quicker in Sector 1. It's been an interesting battle the first couple of races between Simoncic and D'Alessandro, and I think it could continue here if Simoncic can get a respectable lap time in.
Well, Journey's been very, very quick in qualifying, and he's tends to have pretty good feel over race distance.
Michele D'Alessandro has lost time in Sector 2. He's not even improved on the personal best.
Simoncic is quick over Sector 1, but not super quick. Maybe a 10th off the optimum.
D'Alessandro does not improve on his lap time. So Journey Simoncic then coming into the final sector.
The car's looking very planted, he's using a long road. He's not shy about taking some rumble strip, particularly strong through the second to last corner. If he can just open the taps without getting too much wheel spin. A little bit of throttle oversteer there.
Second place with a 125.6. I wouldn't be surprised if he's just took a little bit of front wing out of the car there, just to stabilise the rear a little bit more. Sander Callas, I'm just having a look at the moment. Netrex, Dave, you know of him from last season, racing in Ace and doing a few reserve drives in the WC. He's had an interesting start to his full WC career. Let's see how he's going to get on. Very committed as he gets into the twisty section. The rear end is trying to step out on him though. He's done a personal best Sector 1. He's down a little bit in Sector 2 though. That little twitch may have just cost him a 10th. But he's still on for improving his previous best time, which he doesn't need much to gain a position. See how committed he is out the final corner. Car's looking absolutely planted on the slow corner exit there. Crosses the line and puts himself 4th.
Yeah, very good driving. That's tightening up now at the top, isn't it? We've got 6 drivers within a quarter of a second now, as predicted. Manasakis with a fairly strong Sector 1, a PB for him, but perhaps 10th and a half off the pace of the guys at the very front end.
Yeah, Manasakis racing for the new Edge Esports Formula Sim Racing team. Just letting you know, he's abandoned the lap, but Mohamed Patel has done a fairly handy Sector 1 time.
He has. He's looking very tidy through the chicane on the Mistral Straight, entering Signas, of course, on full throttle as he approaches the Bousset double apex right-hander where you're measuring how much you can slow the car and turn the car without destroying the front end. Into bend or the tight left. Short straight where he'll touch about 280 kph here before massive braking zone into the final complex. The right-handed DuPont onto the pit straight, but looking strong, looking very strong and very planted on his exit.
He was a little slower than D'Alessandro in Sector 2, so I don't think he's gone for straight line speed, and it is 4th place for Mohamed Patel as he bumps Sander Callas out of that position.
Yeah, you talked about front wing before, Dave. Interesting stuff, how they can completely change the balance of the car by taking a clicker wing off to make the car a lot more planted at the rear end, a little bit more understeery, because it doesn't matter if you trash those front tyres in a quali lap. And also the rears haven't fully come in, so you just can't afford to have an overly ambitious front end on the car.
Yep,
and it's one of the few adjustments the drivers can make to the car during part
absolutely right there. Michi Hoyer about to start a fly-in lap for ACR's Zach Speed. Michi had a difficult race last time out in Bahrain. He'll be hoping to try and put that right. He's in 6th place at the moment as he heads into turns 1 and 2. I mean, Dave, you were mentioning about looking after the tyres on the outlap. Turns 1 and 2, don't half warm them up quickly.
Exactly. They've got a pretty good temp by the time you arrive at turn 3. Hoyer very quick into turn 3, and the car's rotating fairly nicely. Touch understeer at low speed, but he's able to get it on throttle very, very early there at the entrance to the Mistral straight. DRS open. I think Hoyer should have a good sector 1 here, but we'll see in a moment. Top speed last time ran 325 and 35.174. That's a very competitive sector 1. I think that's up with the front row boys, a 35.1.
It definitely is, and also he was able to take a lot of curb there with not too much imbalance in the car, whereas we saw Simoncic attack the curbs earlier and it wanted to spit the car off the track. So Michi Hoyer looking like he's got his car set up quite nicely. The 35.1 is on par nearly with Michele D'Alessandro's Sector 1 time. Let's see how he gets on through Sector 2. He's done a 29.1, is just over a tenth off Michele D'Alessandro. Needs a very, very solid final sector. One more corner to go. Bit of traffic ahead of him. Shouldn't affect him too much. DRS open. Well. Short run to the line and goes second. 0.008 of a second.
0.008 of a second. Well, fabulous lap from Michi, and I'm sure that he'll feel good about that because I know he wants to have a good performance. The funny thing with Michi, during the week he was saying he had absolutely no pace at all and he was terrible at this track, and he'll remember from last year that when he says that he normally puts it on pole.
That is true. Jurni Simoncic, purple, Sector 1, a 35.0, very aggressive over the curbs in the chicane again, but this time handles it quite nicely. The problem is you can still lose a little bit of time in there. It doesn't take much to lose 2-3 tenths of a second. See if he's absolutely flat out through the kink. Yes, he is. The rear end wanted to go a little bit, but he's got it under control. Difficult corner this. Reminds me a lot of Shanghai, turn 1. As Simoncic runs a little bit wide on the curb. Now he's got to get it slowed down. Hit the second apex. Give it full
he allows
beans.
it to run wide beautifully there.
He's a little slower than Michi Hoyer in Sector 2. But if you can get this final sector hooked up, he's gone for a very tight apex again. A tight entry compromises the exit. I think that may be a frustrating one for Jurni. Yes, it is.
Yep, it was just that that exit from the final corner, I think, because while he was a touch slower than Hoyer in Sector 2, it wasn't by as much as he beat Hoyer by in Sector 1. So Jurni was on for a good one. He's got one more shot in the bank because he's used 8 laps. So he's got another go up his sleeve.
We've got Petr Breliak just behind Mohamed Patel, both of them doing fairly decent Sector 1s. Mohamed Patel with a 35.1, Breliak with a 35.3. So we could see both of these guys making improvements on their overall lap time. See Mohamed Patel, what's his Sector 2 time? It's a 29.2. It's in the second sector where Michele D'Alessandro seems to have gained the most amount of time. He's about a tenth to 2 tenths ahead of everybody through there.
Patel smooth onto the and
Matt,
Patel onto
where did that come from?
That was a sensational Sector 3, 21.1. flat virtually.
That was impressive, and Peter Breliak abandoned his lap. Michele D'Alessandro, though, has just gone and beaten it. I was so busy watching Mohamed Patel that Michele D'Alessandro snuck in there, and he did improve in the final sector. Took a purple off Mohamed Patel. All kicking off at the end here.
Well, and in essence, a 21 flat in the final sector. So D'Alessandro's car is certainly hooked up in terms of dealing with that final sector. And we now have the top 6 within 0.2 of a second. So we've got a very tight grouping now.
Not only that, 1 second covers the top 20.
Yeah. You've got to get sub 126 to get into the top 10. Yeah, incredible. This is we bang on about it, but this is the standard. This is where you come if you want to race the best drivers in the world.
Definitely. I'm just having a quick look at Eros Masciuli. Oh, it was all out of shape through the first corner. Took a little bit too much curb there. That could compromise him. He's looking very aggressive. It's an interesting circuit this, Dave. As you know, there are some tracks where you gain time by really attacking. And there's other circuits where you gain time by just being nice and smooth. And Eros, he's got a lot of traffic ahead of him. I think his teammate is trying to give him a slipstream. Yes, he is. Trying to boost his speed down the back straight. Gets to 327 kilometers an hour. But yeah, Eros Masciuli attacking very aggressively. But compromised his sector time in sector 1.
A 35.3, so perhaps 1.5 tenths off the quickest. But maybe they gave him a tow because he's carrying a bit of aero. So maybe sector 3 will be his time to shine. Coming up on Jim Parisis now. Parisis gets out of the way very neatly. The Scully his car looks pretty planted through the tight double apex right-hander. And what's his? It's a handy sector 2, a 29.2. I don't think he'll be in P9 after this. Maybe P6 if he gets a good exit. Yeah, and he's patient enough getting the throttle on.
P8 takes P8. It was a good end to the lap for him there, wasn't it?
Yeah, tidy lap. Well, it's just incredible. He's 0.4 of a second off pole, and that's put him in P8, and that's his last shot. Now we've got still got a handful of guys here with another chance, so it's still game on. D'Alessandro, Patel, Hoyer, Simoncic have all got laps to do. Briac is on a hot lap.
Yeah, he is. He's the leading one of the top 5 to start the lap. So Peter Breliak is leading the train of cars at the moment.
Callas just finished one but didn't improve. So that's Callas done.
Spun it. Sorry, Simoncic just spun it. That's his last run over. Michi Hoyer has abandoned his as well. Mohamed Patel starts his last lap. Michele D'Alessandro is on a lap. So yeah, Peter Breliak has got a good chance here. He's done a 35.2 sector 1 time. I have absolutely no idea who's going to come out on pole in this, Dave.
It's very tight. We've got some big names up the front there.
Actually, just to interrupt you, I think Mohamed Patel went too late over the line and he didn't get this last lap in.
Okay,
thank you, Peter. Our broadcaster today, Peter Schulze, will jump in every now and again with a bit of information. So Peter Breliak coming up to the last 2 corners now. Yep. He's doing personal best.
Sector 3 is looking very, very good. Very controlled, good apexes, good exit out of the final corner, and stays in P5.
And looking at the sector times, I think Michi Hoyer abandoned his lap as well.
Michele D'Alessandro is a 10th up on his personal best time. Oh, he lost the rear a bit around the final corner though. He's coming up to the finish line now. Is he still going to improve? No, he doesn't, unfortunately.
Now, D'Alessandro won last time out in Bahrain, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
So, he wants to prove that he's not a one-race wonder, and certainly he's going about it the right way. So it looks like Hoyer and I know it's time's up. Yeah, Hoyer and Patel all back in the pits. So that is the end of qualifying, Dave.
Yeah, Michele D'Alessandro takes pole position, and he's got Mohamed Patel on the front row with him, with Michi Hoyer and Simičić right behind them. Interesting start to the race, I think we'll have there with the teammates of Hoyer and Simičić on that second row. We're going to take a break for a few moments, folks, play a couple of adverts, get a few things ready, and we'll come back partway through the warm-up session. But that's been the Formula Sim Racing round 3 qualifying, where Michele D'Alessandro takes a fantastic pole position.
Hey man, I got that new TMX Thrustmaster wheel. It's going down.
Xbox One?
I can't wait to play when I get home.
Yo, let me play?
Yeah, after I play first. Yeah.
You know, I'll race it for it.
Well, I have to hand it.
Do you want a more immersive experience? Thrustmaster T150 Force Feedback Racing Wheel. Official PS3 and PS4 licenses, and also PC compatible. Rubber coated wheel grips. 1080 degrees of rotation. Adjustable force feedback. Large metal sequential pad. Optimized ergonomic design. Mixed belt, pulley, and gears system. Thrustmaster. Enter into the real driving world.
seconds. Go back one and down to 10. Dynamic over.
It has been an absolutely astonishing season.
Welcome back, everybody, to Formula Sim Racing. We're only a couple of minutes away from the start of round 3 from the Paul Ricard circuit in the World Championship. So I have a quick run through the drivers' standings. Before I do that, don't forget you can follow us on Twitter. Link is in the description. So the drivers' championship standings, Michele D'Alessandro is leading the way on 43 points, followed closely by Yerny Simoncic on 35. Mohamed Patel is only 5 points behind in 3rd place. In 4th is Manuel Biancalila on 23 points, and he's closely followed by Michi Hoyer, who's on 17 points, and Peter Breliak only 1 point behind him on 16. Felix van Delft on 14 points in his first season in the World Championship. Jim Parisis is in 8th place on 8 points, while Eros Masciuli has 7, and Sander Callas rounds out the top 10 on 6 points. George Manasakis has 2, David Greco has 1, everybody else yet to score. Quickly to run us through the team standings, I'm going to hand over to David O'Reilly.
Thank you, Dave. So in the team standings, we have in first place Avid Chronic Racing on 52 points. Musto Racing on 46 points, as you'd expect with 2 world champions. Sabima Racing on 43. Twister Racing on 37. Edge Esports 5th place with 10 points. Pescara SHS with 7 points. Netrex Grand Prix with 6. And Thrustmaster Racing, the final team to have scored, with 1 point.
Good stuff. Now, when the formation lap is underway, we'll hand over to Peter Schulze to run us through the qualifying order. But while we're waiting for that to happen, a little bit of a question for everybody out there. We'll see if Dave knows the answer as well. Who was the last non-Ferrari, McLaren or Williams team and driver that won in Paul Ricard? No Googling, folks. No Googling.
Well, they haven't raced since 1990. It was probably Nigel Mansell.
So most of our listeners were not born at that point, which is why I asked that question. So you're saying Nigel Mansell then?
Oh, which is just a pure guess.
It's a good guess, but I think he may have been racing for Williams at that time. I'm not sure. You're not right though. It's not Nigel Mansell. But get your guesses in, folks, and I'll try and give the answer out on the podium interviews at the end. So not long now until this race gets underway. Dave, strategy. I know you've not had a lot of practice time around this circuit for this weekend.
Yeah, I've only done 400 laps, Dave.
Only. I mean, strategy is always key. You get it right, you look like a god. You get it wrong, you look like you should be on Sesame Street.
Yes, well, the last 2 races we saw were 40 lappers in Pro and Ace. This World Championship is of course a 53 lap event, which really logically brings into play a 3rd stop, because the other 2 events it was a slam dunk, a very obvious 2-stopper, depending which tyres you went for, but everybody 2-stopped. I think that'll translate into a 3-stopper here, unless somebody is a genius on the soft tyre and can manage to do, a couple of 20-lap stints on the soft. But it's a pretty short pit lane. The total pit lane time is about 16.8 seconds. So it's not a long, slow pit stop. So I really don't see the point in soldiering on with slow tyres for, a lot of laps. So I think it'll be a 3-stop, and I think we might see a mixture of 3 soft, 1 super soft, or 2 of each. That would be my instinct. I think Cameron Rogers showed us that you can be pretty quick on the soft tyre. But of course, with these cars, as we well know, they're starting this race with 142 litres of fuel on board, and going quick and saving tyres with that sort of fuel load
They don't go hand in hand, do they? Going quick and saving fuel. Yeah. But you're absolutely right. I mean, I think we're looking at 3 stops. You're probably looking 10 laps on the super softs early on. If anyone can go longer, it could help them with strategy. The softs, you could be looking 15, 16, 17 laps early on. The mediums may be able to do 20, but they don't have the pace of the super soft or the soft tyre. Okay, the drivers are going to be getting ready to line up on the grid, and as soon as they do, we can hand over to Peter Schulze for the qualifying order.
Yeah, so let's take a look at the order. I could get a picture myself. Okay. I would call it technical.
I have a picture if you need it.
Yeah, no, it's fine now. So Michele D'Alessandro is starting in P1 with a 125.4 it is. Then Muhammad Patel will join him in P2. On the second row we have an full ACR row, I should say, with Michi Hoyer in P3, Johnny Simoncic in P4. Then in P5 and P6 we have Peter Priliak and Sander Carles. Behind them are Jim Parisis and Eros Masciuli. In P9 and P10 we have David Cracker and Germano Zappala. Behind them are Gianfranco Giglioli in P11 and Jos Arenada in P12. Then in P13 we have Kirill Birakov, P14 Wojciech Lukaszek. Behind them are Felix van Delft and George Manusakis. Then in P17 we have Giordano Valeriano. In P18 we have Marco Conti. Then there's Ville Lepala in P19 and Martin Gospi in P20. Then P21 we have Sergi Herras, P22 Florian Becker, and on the last row we have Remco Major and Manuel Biancolilla. And I think we also have... Oh, I forgot Luke McGuire because he didn't set any time, and this is because he's starting in the pits. And with him, James Sadler and Manuel Biancolilla will also start in the pit.
Thank you very much, Peter. While you were going through that, I wonder if Dave was doing the same as me and having a look at what tyres those outside the top 10 were on.
I was doing exactly that. And Gianfranco Giglioli is the first non-Supersoft runner. He's chosen the mediums. But I think Jos Arenada might have something exciting to do around the first pit stop because he's on the soft.
But Kirill Birakov, right behind him, is on the super softs.
Yeah, he might be wanting to get past Arenada pretty darn quickly. Lukaszek also on super soft, but Felix van Delft, our fellow commentator and media boss, is running the medium tyre as well. So we've got some interesting tyre choices just outside the top 10, as you would expect. You may as well throw the dice if you're not up the front.
Yeah, definitely. And the tyres, as we mentioned, are going to play a massive part in this race. Just to quickly mention as well, regarding my question, it was to do with official Formula One, but we may get onto that a little bit later. So as the drivers line up on the grid, I know from Pro and I know from Ace there's been a collision at turn 1 in both of those races. I'm hoping we're not going to see that here today in the World Championship, but given the nature of those two turns, it could happen, and it could easily be nobody's fault. Also, there could be somebody to blame, but we'll leave that to the stewards as the drivers line up on the grid. Those starting from the pit lane make their way to the end of the pit lane. We're getting ready for a 53-lap race around the Paul Ricard circuit for the Formula SimRacing World Championship. Round 3, we're waiting for the lights.
Three drivers starting from pit lane.
Now, the handy thing for those drivers in the pit lane is they have an extra lap's worth of fuel for no formation lap. Here we go then. The lights are away. And it's a good start from Michele D'Alessandro. And Mohamed Patel going very defensive onto Michi Hoyer up the inside into turn 1. But it's ACR 2 and 3. Patel has lost out massively there. And Jos Arenada, unfortunately, looks like he may be out of this race. Collision in turn 2 as Edge and Pescara also go side by side for P7 and 8. But up at the front, it was a great start for D'Alessandro. Simoncic up into second place. Michi Hoyer third.
Yeah, Arenada's lost his front wing, but is still mobile.
Peter Breliak is going to have a run. He's going to have a run on Sander Kallas. Moves to the inside towards the chicane. He's side by side. Oh, Sander Kallas closes the door, keeps hold of the position, but compromises himself. So Peter Breliak trying to attack again, but now he's got Eros Masciuli right behind him trying to attack him as well.
So a pretty tidy getaway through turn 2, turn 3 chicane, I must say.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I think the important thing for the ACR drivers there was to not allow Michele D'Alessandro to pull away with Mohamed Patel. So the fact that both of them have got in there is going to apply some pressure, because Mohamed Patel can't do anything at all to work with Michele D'Alessandro. Sander Callas opening up a little bit of a gap now to Peter Breliak, who's coming under a little bit of pressure from Eros Masciuli in the Pescara, and he's followed by his teammate Zappala. Where's the highest run-in? Oh, Wojciech Lukšek looks like he may have a little bit of lag. Felix van Delft gained a few places, up to a 12th place. He may gain another one, because Wojciech Lukšek tried to go side by side with David Greco, but Greco is a very hard defender.
Now Van Delft, of course, on the medium tyre, so he's actually doing well to be on these blokes' gearboxes and not having been dropped. So Felix might be spending a bit more fuel at this stage just to make up for his slower tyre.
Yep, definitely. Now DRS is not available yet, but it will be on the next lap. Mohamed Patel close to Michi Hoyer, but can't do anything about it.
About to fly past Van Delft. No DRS involved, but Manitsakis just has a very quick car. And it's a bit of wheel banging through the chicane, but both drivers still seem to be in one piece.
And right behind him, the halo-adorned Remco Major has just made a move on Martin Gosby, but Martin Gosby going to try and make a move back past him, as the cars ahead are also still battling. That's Felix van Delft and George Manasakis. Gosby trying to be aggressive, but Remco Major on the faster compound tyre is now having a sneaky look at the inside of Felix van Delft. Can't quite get the move done though. What an opening 1.5 laps of this
exciting
race.
And close racing. Meanwhile, at the front, D'Alessandro has pulled just under a 2-second gap on Jurni Simicic.
Mohamed Patel is close enough to Michi Hoyer to have DRS on the back straight, but I think Hoyer, he's got to stay in touch with Simicic. If he doesn't, he'll come under attack.
Yeah, indeed, he needs that DRS tow from Simicic. And the more these guys fight, the better it is for Michele D'Alessandro, because he'll just have clear air and be doing his own thing, pulling a gap out in front.
Yeah, definitely. Now in Bahrain, we did see Michele D'Alessandro take the lead, I believe, and pull away early on, but that gap did come down. It looked like he was very aggressive in the early stages to break DRS, and it worked quite well for him in Bahrain. Jurni Simicic has got his rear gunner, although Michi Hoyer will not like being called that, but he's a team player, so Simicic has got his rear gunner right behind him, so feeling safe-ish at the moment, as Mohamed Patel has actually dropped off a little bit.
Now Giglioli has retired his car.
Felix van Delft is in the gravel as well. I think there was an attack with Remco Major. Let's see if we can get a replay for this incident.
I don't quite know what the retirement was about for Giglioli, but he certainly has retired.
That's unfortunate for Giglioli, and Remco Major has dropped a couple of places. I think you might be right, Peter.
Yeah, it looked like, let's see if I can get a better view of this. Yeah, so Remco Major was going up the inside in the chicane on Felix van Delft and overshot and turned Felix van Delft around.
That's unfortunate. It is unfortunate. It's also unfortunate that sometimes in racing you have crashes, but that is one thing that fans do like to watch. I mean, nobody wants to see anybody get hurt, but at the same time, everybody likes to see a nice crash.
Well, pace very evenly matched up the front. All the top three drivers are within 1/10 of a second of each other last time around. And in fact, Hoyer and Simicic slightly quicker than D'Alessandro. And of course, that will be by virtue of there being a bit of DRS available for Hoyer and for Patel. Simicic doesn't have that opportunity at the moment because he's just a little bit too far back.
Yeah, just to let everybody know, Martin Gosby is the highest runner non-super soft car. He's on the soft compound tyre. Now, the interesting thing about... Sorry, go on, Peter.
Luke Becker, sorry, is trying to make a move on Florian Becker into the chicane. A bit side by side, but Florian Becker managed to defend the position.
Yeah, Felix actually nudged the back of Luke there, and Felix may come under attack from Biancalila. Biancalila had a fantastic race in Bahrain, by the way, managed to get himself up onto the podium, but I think post-race penalties is what has caused his starting from the pit lane today.
It was actually a late allocation, because he was out of internet for a few days.
Talk about technology ruining your weekend. Let's see.
Biancalila just made a big pass through Van Delft, through the double right-hand corner de Bosset. And I don't know whether that was team orders or not, but Biancalila just seemed to fly past him. Although Van Delft now has DRS.
Well, I'm just having a look. Mohamed Patel has been able to close the gap into Michi Hoyer now. But Michi Hoyer doing a fantastic job staying close enough to Yernis Simoncic that he'll get DRS, which is going to make it all the more difficult for Mohamed Patel to have any kind of attack.
And Journey himself doing a pretty good job staying 1.8 seconds behind D'Alessandro, which has been his gap for the last
Just going to clear off a second, Dave. Kirill Birikov is about to make a move on Martin Gosby. Gosby on the harder compound tyre. Birikov does make the move. DRS assisted up the inside is already ahead. That's into P13 for Kirill Birikov on the super soft tyre. Problem for him is when he pits, he's going to come out in a ton of traffic as Luke Maguire makes a move.
Yeah, this was what I was about to say. And Biancalila is close to Florian Becker as well now.
It's an interesting little battle going on there. Just want to mention as well that James Sadler has caught up to this gaggle of cars. James having started from the pit lane. And is that Felix? No, Biancalila got out of shape. Felix Van Delft up the inside. So if it was team orders to let Biancalila through, it's not worked out. And they've come together. They've made contact. They're still bumping wheels. I don't think there's any team orders in there, guys.
Yes, it could be awkward silences back in the pit garage if they keep bumping into each other.
Yeah, definitely. So Sadler then on the soft compound tyre. I think both of Biancalila and Felix Van Delft are on the medium compound tyres. So that's going to get a little bit interesting as we progress through this race. Doesn't look like anything's going to be happening up at the front at the moment. Tends to all kick off around the pit stops.
Yeah, Hoyer is getting quicker and quicker with a 31.6. So he's certainly on the money, and I'm wondering if Journey Simcic is using a richer fuel mix to give Michi a tow at this point, hoping for the favour to be returned later on.
Just behind him, Mohamed Patel, Peter Breliak, sorry, up the inside of Sander Kallas. I think Breliak must have been defending, because wasn't he in P5 anyway? No, he wasn't, no.
He was in P6.
Yeah, so Peter Breliak has just made the move.
But I've got to confess, I missed that one.
I only just managed to sneakily see it in the background. I mean, as one of the things I've really liked about Formula Sim Racing over last year and even this year, there is action all the way down the grid. Felix Van Delft looks like he's about to attack Florian Becker. He's having a look up the inside into the flat out. Kinky goes for it. Little bit of contact and around they both go. Collecting Biancalila as well. Looks like James Sadler may have just about avoided that, and so did Viol Lepala. That was disastrous.
Yeah, I think you saw that coming a lap ago, didn't you, Dave?
Biancalila lost his front wing as well, and I just noticed, sorry to all the viewers, I was like 1.5 seconds behind on the live stream, so I will show a replay of what just happened there. There we go.
I tell you what, if Remco Major was anywhere near that, he'd have been sat there thinking, I'll be okay, I've got a halo on.
And
yeah,
this was a huge impact.
It just seems a bit of a shame that two teammates are going to push it that hard side by side into a corner that you enter at sort of 300 kilometres an hour. But
well, I think it was Felix Van Delft making a move on a non-teammate, and they came together, and Biancalila had nowhere to go. But yeah, I mean, there was a lot of aggression on the previous lap. Okay, just to let you know, the gap between Simoncic and D'Alessandro up at the front has come down to under 2 seconds now. This is what happened in Bahrain.
Sander Kallas is about to make a move on Aris Mascioli on the same corner. Felix Van Delft just made a move on Florian Becker, I think. Side by side. But well, they don't make contact.
That was good driving from both of them, and Zappala is right there as well. The Mascioli was clever enough to realise that he couldn't go in there at usual normal speed because Kallas had stolen the racing line from him. And of course, on a high-speed corner, if you prevent the other driver from using the whole track and using a great wide entry, he's got to lower his corner speed, and Masculi was clever enough to realise he needed to do that and lives to fight another day. But he'll now get DRS on Callis, and Zappola will get DRS on Masculi, so it is game on.
It definitely is, and not only that, Jim Paresis is catching them up as well, and he's got Wojciech Luszek not too far behind, and he's bringing David Greco and Manasakis into this fight as well. But we're on lap 8, so we could see pit stops happening any time from now for those guys on the super soft tyre, depending on how kind they've been to them. If they've been a bit Danny Ricciardo and given them a bit of a stroke and a massage and looking after them, they'll go a few more laps. But if they've been a bit Max Verstappen, they'll be into the pits any time now.
So 8 laps in, we've got top 13 drivers separated by 13 seconds, so still got very tight gaps, and a pit stop here is just under 17 seconds. So some of these guys are going to be looking at their deltas and saying, well, I don't really want to drop back into an absolute melee on my outside.
Sorry, Dave, just going to cut you off second.
Masculi just managed to catch Callis on the back straight, and now Zappola is on his rearing as well.
He is, but Callas is going to have to look at going defensive here, because Zappola has been looking very, very feisty, but he's been looking calmly feisty, and that's what I like to see in a driver. Not afraid to go for a move, but try it without too much risk. Let's see how they get on. Nobody in at the pits as of yet, but very difficult pit entry here, Dave.
Yeah, and we're also, Dave, we're at the witching hour as far as these super soft tyres go, because 8 laps in, these tyres have given of their best. And we're now going to see the battle of the engineers, because who's ever set the car up better.
Lukaszek is the first one pitting.
Okay, there you go.
Yep, so absolutely spot on with what you were saying there, Dave, about the tyres. So perhaps Wojciech been a little bit more aggressive on them. I'm just having a look at Manasakis. He was right on the gearbox of David Greco, but it was a little bit messy through turns 1 and 2.
See, Lukaszek has pitted, being the first to pit, and also he's put on the hard tyre. Well, the hardest of the 3 compounds, which does make me presume he's not getting great tyre wear, and I don't think it's going to be a great strategic move, because he's not going to undercut people on the medium tyre.
That is true, but hopefully they'll last quite a while. Zappola in close to the back of Sander Callas, but too far back to attack. Now, I must admit, one of the things I was thinking driving around this circuit is why there isn't another DRS zone here. But to be fair, if there was, drivers would try taking this right kink with wing open, and it wouldn't work.
They'd be flying off into the scenery if they forgot to manually close DRS.
That they would.
Yeah, good
head into
point.
a corner at Paul Ricard and out of the corner at Magny-Cours.
Yeah, exactly. They'd land at the local airstrip.
Okay, Michele D'Alessandro, that gap to Yannis Simicic is holding around 1.8 to 2 seconds.
Yeah, and you know what? It's been that same gap for 6 laps. So,
and Peter Breliak is slowly catching up that leading pack of cars.
Yeah, they're closing up, aren't they? They're potentially going to have a train of guys all with DRS. Now, Peter Breliak and Mohammed Patel are
just going to cut you off. Kirill Birikov going to make a move into turn 1 on George Manasakis, and he manages to get it up the inside. That was nicely done by both drivers there. Birikov nearly lost it on the exit, though.
And Manasakis got a much better exit, and I think Manasakis is going to have a very good DRS shot on kickoff. Repay the favour as they enter the Mistral Straight. Remco Major leaving pit
Mohammed Patel has just made a move on Michi Hoyer up the inside into the chicane. I was watching the same battle as you there, Dave, and then noticed he was really close. I think Michi Hoyer must have just lost a little too much time behind Yannis Simicic and perhaps didn't get the DRS.
I'll just show a replay of what happened there. It's pretty simple DRS pass, because Michi Hoyer lost the 1 second gap to Simicic and didn't have DRS himself, so Mu managed to get him on the DRS zone.
Yeah, we mentioned how crucial it'd be for Michi Hoyer to hold that gap. He's going to have to be careful now. It's possible that Michi Hoyer's tyres have started going off a little bit sooner than Yannis Simicic's, and that is why he's dropped off the back. Michele D'Alessandro continues up for another lap, so does Simicic, and Patel and Hoyer into the pits. So yeah, his tyres were screaming enough.
Now the undercut works pretty well here, so these other guys need to be going quickly, because if Hoyer jumps onto a fresh set of and Hoyer's going for soft, the yellow sidewall tyre, Now, this could still be a very competitive showing.
It definitely could. I mean, the soft tyre is faster than a worn super soft tyre, and Michi Hoyer's come out in quite a nice spot. He's got Martin Gosby just over a second behind him on old soft tyres, and he's got a nice gap ahead of him. So Michi Hoyer may have just timed that absolutely spot on to get the undercut that you mentioned, Dave.
We'll see how close he is. We need a sector to tick over to get an accurate fix on Hoyer's gap, but if it's under 17 seconds, it's going to be very, very competitive the next time round. So we'll see how that looks. We're still seeing, it's 20 seconds. So, it's not, it's close enough to be very competitive with Patel, I must say. 17 seconds the gap. It's 16.8 seconds for a clean pit entry or for a clean, complete pit stop.
Yeah,
so we'll see what happens.
It looks like David Greco has also made a pit stop. He's on the medium compound tyre now, and just ahead of him, James Sadler is letting Wojciech Lukaszek through. Lukaszek in as a reserve driver for your own Fatal. Sadler on the soft tyre that he started the race on. So
Mohamed Patel and Peter Briliak are both pitting at the same time, even though Mohamed was catching Johnny Simoncic.
Now, interesting, Patel and Briak have seemingly responded to Hoyer. Because, of course, when a fast guy pits, you've got to bear that in mind with your strategy. But D'Alessandro and Simoncic are still going. So these guys are getting fabulous.
It's close. It's close with Michi and Mohamed Patel.
It's very close. Michi Hoyer's come. Let's see, Mohamed Patel's gone for the super soft tyre again. So he's going to be faster, but he's going to be pitting sooner. Michi Hoyer's going to need to work hard to keep on the back of him. Sergio Elas up to 7th place now, and Martin Gosby in 8th. Both of those guys haven't stopped yet. I did see a few cars getting very, very close in a very busy pit lane there as well.
Now, Hoyer will be smelling an opportunity here, because if he can stay close to Patel and stay within DRS range for a few laps here, Patel's tyres will start to go off a little bit. Hoyer's will be okay, and Hoyer knows that Patel has got to use the soft tyre at some stage. So this is Mo's chance to pull a gap, and the next pit stop will be Hoyer's chance to do something.
The interesting thing, I think, there for Mohamed Patel, though, we're going for the super soft tyre. It gives him a much better opportunity of jumping Yerny Simoncic with the undercut here. I think Simoncic either needs to respond now, or as Michele D'Alessandro into the pits and Simoncic follows him in. I was going to say, needs to respond now, or they need to go long, and these tyres do not like doing that. Jim Paresis coming around the final corner. It's going to be very marginal,
Dave. Patel now entering the final complex. It's going to be very marginal.
It's going to be very, very close. Michele D'Alessandro, Simoncic in at the pit lane. And Michele D'Alessandro is going to rejoin and retake the lead, but Yerny Simoncic is going to come out in 4th place behind his teammate Michi Hoyer, and he's coming under attack from Peter Briliak, who throws up the inside into turn 1. So Yerny Simoncic goes from 2nd place down to 5th.
Which just shows you the price of going long on these tyres, but D'Alessandro's made it work. I guess he had a couple of seconds up his sleeve. But dramatic first round of pit stops.
D'Alessandro, though, is on the super soft tyre. So is Mohamed Patel. Michi Hoyer's on the softs. Briliak is on the super softs. And Yerny Simoncic is on the softs. So
behind them, sorry to interrupt you, behind them there's a huge battle of 7 or 8 cars. All of them going on the back straight now. And I think Germano Zappala is leading them. And there's a huge DS train. Jim Paresis is
attacking.
Oh, in the background, who's that? That's Sander Cal spins. Luke Maguire.
Oh, no.
Luke Maguire, front wing gone. Oh, yeah, and someone else has been spun as well. Is that Wojciech Lukaszek? Yeah.
Maguire. Terrace coming through the wreckage now. Disaster for those guys.
It definitely was.
Quick replay. I think it was Sander Carlos attacking Luke Maguire, I think.
Yes, it was.
Where is it?
Yeah, tapped the back of the driller's car.
Should be this one. Oh, yeah, well, the driller's car locked his rear tires, so he spun on the apex and Sander Carlos just went into him. Was a bit unfortunate, I think, from both sides.
Oh, we've got another move going on here. Oh, no, it's not. Eros Masciuli being attacked by Jim Paresis. So Jim trying to get aggressive. I mean, there's not a massive time difference between the super soft and the soft tyre, but there's enough to give you the confidence to try and attack. The problem is, the harder you attack, the more punishment your tyres take. Peter Braliak is about to make a move on Michi Hoyer up the inside towards the chicane. DRS assisted, an easy move. The ACR guys are going to suffer right now on the harder compounder tyre.
Yep, they're certainly paying.
Sorry, Dave, in the background, Masciuli coming under attack. He's actually going to try. He was being attacked and he ended up trying to make a move. Now he's through the gravel. He's still managed to overtake one car, but I think he may actually have to give the position back.
And Paris is trying to get past Zappala. Zappala is weaving all over the road. Paris is not going to take too kindly to that, but Zappala manages to fend him off into the double right-hander.
It's not going to end well. Greco and Birakov also side by side.
But Paris will have Paris has got a lot of performance here. He's got the super softs versus the mediums. Paris will have him under DRS certainly into the turn 1-2 chicane. My money says.
I tell you what, Dave, I bet you've missed doing this commentary, haven't you? Absolute chaos for 53 laps.
Yeah.
Jim Paresis looks like he's going to be able to make the move here.
They've both got DRS, but Paresis is imposing himself. Zappala tried to do some funky defensive work, but Paresis is having none of it. Zappala is now skidded across the gravel and Paresis is through, and glad, no doubt, that he hasn't got to battle that particular driver any longer. Greco in the pits.
And,
I think Kirill Birakov is out of this race.
Yeah, I was just about to say, he was standing there in the gravel without a front wing on turn 1. And I think Gospi just passed Wojciech Lukaszek into turn 1. Oh no, actually they're side by side.
Wojciech Lukaszek is closing in on Martin Gosby. Wojciech Lukaszek has made a pit stop running the medium tyre. I don't think Gosby has stopped yet. He will be in any time within the next 2 laps, I think.
Yeah, Kirikov and Manitsakis came together, but I've got to put some of the blame at Kirikov because he just jinked to the left for no apparent reason, just as Manitsakis was approaching him, and that's what collected him and spun him off the track.
Yep. Okay, 15 laps completed. Michele D'Alessandro leading every lap so far. Mohamed Patel now into second place, 1.5 seconds behind Michele D'Alessandro. But I think Michele will feel like he may be able to turn the engine down a little bit now, save a bit of fuel. Peter Braliak up to third place, and Michi Hoyer pushing hard on his soft compound tyre to try and stay close to Peter Braliak. If he loses DRS, it could get even more painful. Having said that, though, Michi Hoyer will be able to push his tyres a little bit harder than
that's
Peter
the thing.
Braliak can.
The soft is just a bit more resilient, isn't it? It just doesn't feel as disposable as the super soft does.
Yeah, definitely. Yerny Simičić has definitely dropped off. I think that hit of going from second down to fifth has hit him hard, but maybe he's just pacing himself at the moment, make these tyres last, save a little bit of fuel to use up a little bit later on. But definitely painful period of time for the ACR guys. Eros Masciuli up to 6th place, getting a little bit spread out now, 6th to 9th, although Sander Kallas is closing in on Germano Zappala a little bit. Sander Kallas on the medium compound tyre, and so is Zappala.
Not looking so bad in my books for Hoyer particularly, because bearing in mind Hoyer is on the slower compound tyre. He's virtually within DRS range of Briac, unless Briac is just holding station there and supporting Patel and D'Alessandro in front. But Hoyer's on the slowest tyre, and he's still, you could say there's, a couple of seconds between him and P2. So, not so bad.
Yep.
The pendulum will swing in another 3 laps' time, probably, because it was about lap 10, these boys all pitted. So, at lap 20, the super soft runners are going to start to feel a bit of degradation kick in.
Yeah, definitely now. Michele D'Alessandro is catching up to a car, but that's Florian Becker, who's running in 19th and last place. I've just seen David Greco is out of the race. I didn't see what happened to him there. Unfortunately, David Greco is out of the race for the Thrustmaster eSport team. But Florian Becker sitting in 19th for a painful position for him at the moment.
I think I replay for them. I think that. This is helpful.
Just going to cut in Jim Parisis making a move on Eros Masciuli. Jim Parisis is absolutely flying on the super soft tyre at the moment, passing cars left, right and centre, but he's passing cars that are the hardest compounder tyre.
So from the replay, it looked like he had suspension damage and just parked his car on the back.
That's unfortunate. I do know that around this track, a bit of suspension damage, it can very easily make all of the left-handers very nice, but all of the right-handers awful. Suspension damage is a little bit mean at times. Let's see, Jemana Zappa under pressure from Sander Callas. Sander Callas is on a charge, but let's see, Dave, what have you got an eye on at the moment?
Well, I was just looking at lap times. Alessandro's lap time is eroded a bit from a quickest lap of a 30.7, and he's now gone 31 flat, 31.2. But yeah, he might just be in a bit of a comfort zone with Mo Patel acting as his rear gunner, and he might be just saving tyres because he's on the super soft, and he'd go long on his first set of super softs. So yeah, just thinking a little bit about lap times for these guys up front. Hoyer dropping off a little bit now. Hoyer at half seconds behind Briac. Let's see if that can be reduced a bit as the soft guys...
Just going to cut in quickly. Sander Callas is within DRS range of Germano Zavala. Is he going to be able to attack down the back straight? He's gaining. I don't think he's gaining enough. Don't do it. Do it. Don't do it. He's not done, thankfully. Thought if he goes for this, he's going to end up in the absolute disaster. But he's decided better of it. And it's a wise decision that.
So what do you think happens when you're trying to attack somebody and you see that's an Italian flag on their rear wing? Do you attack harder or do you attack more?
You get your hand signals ready. I don't mean swearing ones, by the way. No, I mean, to me, it makes absolutely no difference what flag is on the back of a car. Though I know years ago on Coasters games, there were certain nationalities that if you saw them racing, quite often they'd end up crashing into you. But me personally, it doesn't matter what's on the back of the wing, it's who is in the seat and how they're driving and how we battle. I mean, this is the thing, we've seen a lot of people over the last year and a bit, Dave, who are way too aggressive, and somewhere you can just see that they've got a little bit of composure and go, you know what, I'm going to wait until the opportune moment where it gains me the most and hurts you the most when I make the move.
Exactly, that's what that's all part and parcel of being a World Championship driver. We talked about it off air. You've got the massive pace that's required, but Callas has just made a beautiful move under Zapala. Dived under him on the turn prior to Mistral Straight. That was just a stunning move. I don't know whether we can get a replay on that. Actually,
but like I was, we've got another move going on. Is that Jim
and Manasakis
Parisis
having a go at Zapala as well. Zapala's probably feeling a little bit being picked on at the moment as we do the 19th of 53 laps. Yeah, Manas has a really tight group of three here fighting for P8. Callas, Zapala, Manasakis, all within a second of each other. And these battles for sort of 8th and 9th and 10th and 15th in World Championship take on the same dimension as a battle for a podium in Pro. Anybody you can pass is a fantastic victory in World Championship.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, points were only scored down to 10th place, so beyond that, it's all about pride. And I know quite a few people that have had some fantastic battles outside the top 10 and feel like they're as happy as if they'd have won a race because of how enjoyable the battles were.
Well, that's the thing. You only need somebody on track near you, and you're in a race.
We won't mention that, will we, Peter?
No, better not.
Manasakis. Nobody has made a move there all day. He's made it though, or he's trying to now, around the outside, up the inside. Lovely aggressive driving by Manasakis there, and he was very opportunistic, but again, like I said, giving Zapala plenty of pain, but Zapala may have DRS now.
I think he will. Yeah, Zapala's got DRS. He made the pass before the DRS detection point, but looks like Manasakis has got a pretty quick car because Zapala is certainly not hauling him in. It's a very, very feisty battle between these two guys.
Yeah, I'm just having a quick look up at the front, just to let you know, Michele D'Alessandro has a 3-second lead. Peder Braliak has closed in on Mohamed Patel. There's just over half a second between the two of them. So I'll keep an eye on this and just let us know what's happening there,
Yeah,
guys.
well, Patel effectively has dropped off the back of D'Alessandro a bit, hasn't he? Because it was 1.8 for a long time. It's now 3 seconds, with Braliak half a second off the back of Patel. Almost a changing of the guards. Simoncic is getting closer to Hoyer, so perhaps Hoyer's pace has gone off a bit, and as you surmised earlier, Simoncic was perhaps just biding his time a little bit and looking after tyres and fuel and deciding to attack nearer the, well, the logical time, the exciting time to attack is nearer the pit stop window for the Supersoft runners, and we might see Hoyer and Simoncic just start to work as a team again and really push hard around this next pit stop.
Yeah, definitely. Now, something to bear in mind as well is those guys that ran the Supersoft tyre at the start pitted, what, laps 10 to laps 12?
10, 11, yeah.
Yep, so they're going to be pitting any time within the next 2 laps.
Simoncic had DRS and Hoyer not repelling him. Yep, good spot. Simoncic has passed Hoyer now using DRS. And
okay, Dave, would it make sense for Simoncic and Hoyer to stay close enough to DRS overtake each other lap after lap, giving himself a speed boost?
Probably, and it's a bit like a cycling in a peloton. The guy in front's using more fuel, but the guy behind's using more rubber. So yeah, I guess they should share the load. They're both quick guys.
I don't think Simoncic will wait for Michi Hoyer. It looks like Michi Hoyer's tires are coming close to the cliff, and Simoncic's tires are still in pretty good shape. That's why Simoncic passed him now.
Yeah, I mean, let's not forget, Michi Hoyer was the first of the front runners to make a move to the pit stops or to the pit lane. So, yeah, his tyres are going to be suffering a little bit more.
Yeah,
as I mentioned,
graphically, Hoyer's tyres are showing more deg.
Yeah,
but I tell you what, Braliak's tyres aren't looking that pretty either. Nor Patel's, nor D'Alessandro's. So it's going to be one of those interesting times now as we approach this second window.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the tyres those guys go on, it could make, or if I'd be tempted if I was them, if they've got another stop to do, which they're definitely going to have to do. I'm wondering if they're going to think, you know, well, let's go super soft again. If they go super soft, not only do they get an overcut on those both ACR drivers, they're going to be faster for a whole stint. So they could gain a considerable amount of time by running the super soft tyre again. I'm just having a look at Germano Zappala. He's really, really close to the back of Manasakis. I don't know if Manasakis is going to have DRS off the car ahead. No, he hasn't. So this may be an opportunity for Zappala, but his tyres are hurting. The benefit for him is the car ahead is on super soft tyres and they're dying, but he's not quick enough to make a move.
Oh, Manasakis was very slow. I think Manasakis has a problem.
I think you might be right there.
I don't know what's happening to Manasakis. He's speeding up again now.
Mohamed Patel into the pits.
Okay,
Braliak continues on.
I've got my eyes on him. I can tell you what tyres he takes. He's going for the medium. So Patel is going for quite a hard compound now, which would be music laps to Michi Hoyer's ears.
I think.
30 laps I don't think is doable on the medium compound tyre. But 20 laps is, leaving 10 for another set of super softs.
Well, exactly. If he's got on the medium now, it's because he wants to finish on the super soft, I would say. That would be my punt.
The problem for him is, how good are Jim Parisis's super soft tyres? Have they still got any life in them? Because if they have, he could be a bit of a thorn in the side of Mohamed Patel.
If I was Hoyer and Simoncic, I would pit now for super softs, because they've used both compounds now, and this is their chance now to attack Patel.
It's so, I mean, I know, Dave, when we were doing commentary last year, and I used to talk about how I don't like the fact that there's refueling because your strategies are limited to how much fuel you got in the car. We don't have refueling now. I have no idea what strategy these guys are doing. And you know what? I love it. I don't care that I don't know. It makes it more interesting. It makes it more exciting.
Yeah, 100%. And with 30 laps to go, as you said, these guys, other than Patel, who's just pitted, they've got the rest of these guys have got 2 more stops to go. Briac is into the pits. Simičić is gone. I think Simičić and Hoyer, they're not on the fast tyres now. I think they should be covering these guys now and putting on the fastest tyre available. Briac's gone super softs again.
Oh, split strategy and from Mohamed Patel and Peter Braliak.
No, Prilik is on mediums. Prilik is on mediums.
Was he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, graphically for me, it's saying it just hasn't updated then, because my in-game, it looks like a red sidewall tyre to me.
Mohamed Patel did not get an undercut on Peter Braliak, even though Braliak was on very old super soft tyres. Peter Braliak, if anything, is just as close as he was before the pit stops. Manasakis and Lukacek into the pits as well. So the gap between Simičić and Mohamed Patel, what, 14 seconds? Now, this is where, for Simičić and Hoyer, they're going to be keeping an eye on that gap, and so is their race engineer. If they can open that gap up, they'll keep going. If they can't, yeah, like you said, they've got to get into the pits and cover them off.
Well, there's no way they can, because if Briac's on fresh tyres, and I'll tell you what, in the sim, I'm still seeing a super soft tyre, but on live timing, I'm seeing medium. So
yeah, he's definitely on the medium compound tyre.
Okay, something weird going on with my graphics here. But now I'm seeing Patel on the medium, that he pitted earlier.
D'Alessandro, he's got to be looking at pitting soon. I mean, he's continued on for another lap. That's a lot of laps on these super soft tyres he's doing.
Well, Journey's still in the 31s, but it's high 31s.
Looking at the pace, I think Michele D'Alessandro is still in it. It doesn't look like Mohamed Patel and Peter Brilik can close the gap on the fresh mediums.
Jim Paresis has made a pit stop. He's gone on to the super soft tyre, and he's just been passed in the start finish by Sergei Eras, who is running the soft compound tyre. So Jim Paresis has got another car to try and overtake. Yeah, interesting race, that's for certain. Peter Braliak, he's got DRS. Is he going to go for a move on Mohamed Patel? No, he lifts out of it. He's got no interest at the moment in trying to attack his teammate.
I think he's playing the long game right now, lifting at the end of the straights with DRS to save fuel to attack later on in the race.
Yep, definitely. Okay, the gap between Simičić and Mohamed Patel, it's still about 14 seconds. 15 maybe. It's close, it's tight.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. D'Alessandro pitting. I won't announce the time because my graphics seem to be getting it wrong. Well, live timing says he's taken on mediums.
Yep.
Hoyer's pitted as well.
I think this may be close between Mohamed Patel. No, it's not. Michele D'Alessandro's got a massive gap on Mohamed Patel. I know he had, 4 seconds before the pit stops?
And Michi Hoyer's on super softs right now.
Yeah, indeed. So Hoyer is going to go as quick as possibly can.
Well, he's going to need to. I mean, the medium tyres.
Hoyer approaching turn 3. There's about 5 seconds between. I'd have thought on track. We'll see how that settles out. It won't read correctly till he's done a sector.
Well, Peter Braliak's still close. I mean, that the gap that Michele D'Alessandro's gone out. Peter Braliak on, go for it. He is going for it. Peter Braliak up to 3rd place, and rightly so on that occasion. That's for certain. I mean, it'd be no harm for Mohamed Patel to say to Peter Braliak, go on then, go and have a run at him, make him use up his fuel. But it is, a 9-second gap that Michele D'Alessandro's got at the moment.
And Eris Masculi is going to make a move on Sergio Harris at the back straight, side by side in the braking zone, and makes an easy pass into the chicane.
Easy pass, super soft on soft. Very clinical. It's been a bit of a quiet race from Martin Gosby, our race winner from, was it Silverstone last year? Gosby took the win.
Yep, he's not that far behind Sergio Eras, and Sergio Eras is right behind Eros Masciuli. Different compounder tyres on those guys, as Peter Braliak does his fastest lap of the race with a 30.4.
And Simoncic stayed out again. So,
Oh,
he runs a
Simoncic
bit
is
wide.
just stuck on a curb.
Yeah, he just got beached on the curb there. A little bit. I think it lost him like a second, if I see this right on the gap.
Yeah, it's about 1.5 seconds. It's so easy to do on that curb as well. That's also a sign that his front tyres are starting to give up the ghost a little bit. He's understeer wide and then gets stuck on that curb. But he's also got the problem of Michele D'Alessandro is only, 7 seconds behind him now and has already done another pit stop. I think the ACR guys may have possibly got their strategies wrong here. I know you're an ACR guy, Dave, but obviously don't get any trade secrets away, but just wondering if you think their strategy is going to pay for them.
Well, it's so tricky, isn't it? Because it's very dynamic. Who are they racing? Are they racing Briac and Patel, or are they racing D'Alessandro? And ultimately, if you're not, in that front group, it's tricky to decide whether you're covering the guy behind.
It is.
And
Just going to cut you off quickly. George Manasakis closing in on Martin Gosby. Going to make a move up the inside through the flat-out right-hander. Gosby could do absolutely nothing about it on the soft compound tyre, but it actually looks to attack back in the next corner. Can't quite make it work. Manasakis with a fresher, faster tyre makes that move stick. Sorry to cut you off there, Dave. Simoncic
You're right,
into
can be
the
very
pits.
close between Hoyer. Simoncic exits the pits ahead of Hoyer. And it looks like he's gone, and he's gone for super soft tyres. So both he and Hoyer on the fastest compounded tyre.
They must be going for a double super soft stint here.
They'd have to be.
Although I don't know if Mitchy's going to be able to do it. I mean, Mitchy pitted a few laps ago. It's going to be a long stint on super soft tyres for him.
26 laps nearabouts. So 13 lap stint on the super soft. That's a pretty big call. Although on low fuel, maybe they need to make some hay now and then jump onto softs. We shall see. But certainly Journey's further back from Mohamed Patel than he would like to be. Patel exiting Cygnus and entering the double right-hander of De Bosset, and Simoncic just entering Cygnus now, so it's got to be 5 seconds between them. That's what it says on the clock anyway.
Well, I mean, they've got
Patel, of course, on the harder tyre. Simoncic, or Patel on the slowest tyre available. Simoncic on the fastest tyre available. I guess he's decided it's time to gamble, time to throw the dice.
Yeah, and the ACR guys, they have to make gains now. I mean, saying that, Simoncic has already pulled in 2 seconds on Michele D'Alessandro. But yeah, they need to make the gains now, because chances are the cars ahead of them are all going to be on the super soft tyre for the final stint. And if that's the case, there's no pace advantage there.
Well, indeed. And Mishy's last 2 lap times were about a 1:30.6, and Mo Patel is doing a 1:30.8 and a 1:30.9 on the hard tyre. So there's not an overwhelming pace advantage at the moment.
It looks like we've got somebody retiring. Manasakis has got a problem. His car is going very, very slow. It's actually almost coming to a stop. No, he's got going again. I don't know what happened to him there, but
he seems to have some hardware issues because he had the same thing earlier, like 5 or 10 laps earlier, when he was fighting with Zappola, where Zappola hit his back.
Must be having some electrical issue, potentiometer issue, or something like that.
Quite possibly. Frustrating for him. I saw him going very slow down the start finish as Zappola was coming out of the pits. So, Yerny Simoncic, Michi Hoyer, what have you got? Can you take the fight? Ami Patel, Pera Brelak and Michele D'Alessandro. The gap between the front two is ranging between 3.8 seconds and 4.2. I don't think Brelak is just sitting back on this one. And to be fair, Dave, I think it's not very easy to say to a former world champion, you just sit behind me, mate, and play the team game. I think he wants to go and get a win here.
Well, and Patel is it's metronomic, his lap time. It's the last 3 laps, so 30.9, 30.8 and a half, 30.8 and a bit. Yeah, he's lapping within a tenth of a second each lap around. Briac, very similar lap times, slightly quicker on a couple of them. And
just thinking, David,
Hoyer
it's possible
now?
as well that
Hoyer's dropped into the 129, so Hoyer is definitely lit it up. He's got these option tyres in their working zone.
I was just going to say, it is possible that Petr Breliak had saved more fuel than Mohamed Patel. And you mentioned earlier on about whether following a guy, like whether Simičić was running a higher engine mode to give Chihoya a tow. Maybe that's what Breliak and Patel are doing now. Patel can run a lower fuel mode.
Yeah, Patel is definitely running a lower fuel mode and also lifting at the end of the DS straight. You could see him only hitting about 317 kph in the slipstream with the DRS, so I think that's definitely lower fuel move him.
So tactical teammate driving, and some people might not like it, but you do what you can do with your teammates to get the most out of your race. Simičić is trying to close that gap, and it's coming down a little bit, but I don't think it's coming down anywhere near as much as it should.
Yeah, it came down 0.7 of a second last time around. Simičić and Hoyer, well, Hoyer and Simičić are the fastest two drivers on track at the moment.
I mean, Simičić can see them. He can see them up ahead. Now that's going to motivate him to go and get them. He could be in for one hell of an epic battle here. I mean, when are we looking at having them come into the pits? For Simičić, probably around about lap 38, maybe 39. For Hoyer, may have to pit earlier, may have to go for a soft compound tyre. But if they can catch Patel before lap 38, we've got a race on our hands.
Well, indeed, and you know, there's 23 laps left to race, and there is a lot of fuel to be burnt, a lot of carbon fibre to be rubbed, and a lot of tyre wear. And you know, these guys are pushing like mad, and of course, Simičić has now got the motivating factor that he can see Mo Patel a couple of seconds up the road, and he knows that he himself is on the quicker tyre. And there is probably nothing more motivating than knowing you're on the quicker tyre and seeing the guy up the road, and it is game on. And Simičić he's here to try to win points. So this is his moment to attack. Let's see what lap time he can produce this time around.
I mean, one of the things as well, it's all right saying that he's attacking. I mean, I would advise anybody that's watching, if you've never done it before, check out the live timing. The link is in the description, because it's all well and good saying, oh, I can do this lap time, it's faster than everybody else. But if you can only do it once, it don't mean anything. You've got to be able to do it 15 times in a row. Change your tyres, do it another 15 times in a row. And that's what these guys do. It always amazes me just how consistent these guys are. And that is one of the reasons why it's so competitive in the World Championship.
Well, Journey was
like Manasakis has problems again. He was just going slowly and got passed by Martin Gosby.
Oh, he'll be very up, finding that very, very frustrating. Simičić basically a full second quicker than Patel last time round, so he can smell blood now. He's 1.7 seconds. Sorry, 1.8 seconds behind Patel now. Another lap, and he will be within DRS distance of Patel and then Breliak. So Simičić is absolutely on a charge, pushing as hard as possible. Hoyer personally has just done the fastest sector one of the whole race. So the firm of Simičić and Hoyer.
I think they're going to be on the back of him before the end of this sector, Dave. He's gaining so much through these corners.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, Michi Hoyer is just following beautifully here. These guys working well as a pair as well.
Now, while all this has been happening, we've been talking about all the permutations of what can happen with tyres and with the competitive strategies. We must not forget that Michele D'Alessandro is out the front doing a masterclass in how to win here, because he's 4 seconds clear of Breliak and doing it all in absolute style. But, you know, I think the podium is still wide open. There's only 2 more steps on the podium, and there's 4 guys that want it.
Yeah, Simičić was a little bit messy through turns 1 and 2 there. Took a little bit too much curb. The apex of turn 1 very nearly lost the rear of the car. Is he within DRS range?
1.2 it says on my screen.
Yeah, so he's a little bit too far behind. Michi Hoyer's going to have DRS though.
He will. So Hoyer DRS courtesy of Simičić, Patel DRS courtesy of Breliak. So we've got teammates towing teammates here. Hoyer didn't look like he particularly wanted to pass. He's happy to just use that DRS to support and stay very
Patel
close.
Just make a mistake there? It looked like he was a little bit out of shape through the chicane. Sorry to cut you off there.
No
problem. Looked like he was a little bit out of shape, but 1.1 seconds. 1.1 1/10 is all Simičić needs.
So D'Alessandro is still 4 seconds clear and driving on the hardest tyres. And just for the benefit of the audience, the top 3 cars on track at the moment are running the medium tyre, and P4 and P5, Hoyer and Simičić and Hoyer are running the super soft tyres. So they've got to attack before the super soft tyres start to evaporate in the sun like an ice cream at the beach, which is what they're like.
Within DRS range.
Now he can smell Patel now.
The thing with these super softs is they will probably have two or three laps attacking before they have gone to the pits. And
Simičić has DRS. We closed it very early. Must be a bit wary about the turn 1, turn 2 chicane.
Wojciech Lukaszek, unfortunately, he's had a bit of a spin. I don't know if it was involved somebody else or not, but he's lost a couple of positions from it. That's unfortunate for Wojciech Lukaszek. Let's see, Simičić. How long is he going to wait? I mean, the difficulty for him is that Mohamed Patel is going to have DRS. He's been saving fuel, can turn his engine to max. I mean, I wonder whether Simičić and Hoyer have to play a very clever game and go for a slingshot overtake.
Yeah, well, they've got 20 laps to go.
Oh, and Simičić made a bit of a mistake there, going wide onto the gravel.
Now, can these guys just cover one another? Who will pit first? Because Patel and Briac took their tyres a lot earlier, didn't they?
Yeah, 23, lap 23 they changed onto these tyres, or at least Mohamed Patel did.
So I think all of these guys are just one stop from home and potentially have the ability to choose whatever tyre they want to go onto.
Well, I mean, this is the interesting thing that you brought up, Dave, is that Simičić and Hoyer have managed to close the gap on these two. If they undercut them, they don't have to worry about trying to pass them on the track, but Simičić likes an overtake. Problem is, he's just dropped off. He's had a poor end of the lap there. I think from when Peter said that he got on the curb a little bit, he struggled and it's cost him a little bit of time. So yeah, he's not going to have long to try and make any kind of a move. And the problem for him is Patel and Breliak, they can literally just plant the car on the racing line. They know what the tops are going to do.
Sorry, Simičić had a very good first sector. He's very close to Mohamed Patel now.
Yeah,
onto the
indeed.
back straight.
Yeah, and Patel is not so close to Briac this time. He's going to have DRS, but not much of a toe. Big chance for an overtake here from Simičić. Does he take it up the inside? Hard under brakes. Pulls back to brake on the rubber line because, of course, if he took the inside line there's no rubber on the track. But Simičić has certainly announced his presence.
That cost him dearly. He did a double shift from 6th to 8th gear.
He's still up the inside. He's still up the inside, though. Oh, Mohamed Patel might have to go defensive here.
Mega pressure here. No. Mega pressure on Patel. Now Simičić through here, he's got to just manage these front tyres a little bit. But he is just setting himself up to have another massive DRS run on Patel. And Mo Patel is saying to Peter Briac, stay within a second, Peter. Don't disappear up the road. I need this DRS to repel the journey.
Definitely. If Patel drops off too far from Breliak, he's in a whole world of pain.
Journey Simičić has some kind of problem with his upshift because he double shifted again out of the last corner.
Okay, so technical issues then for Journey Simičić, and now he'll be stressing him out. He'll be doing his head in, but he's just got to keep calm. He knows he's got the pace in the tyre at the moment, but he also knows he's not got many laps to go on this particular set of tyres. The other option is to just go, right, let's pit. But I wouldn't be surprised if Patel and Breliak have already been discussing and they know when they're going to make a move.
You know, Journey has a fairly old racing wheel. So if there's anybody out there, any keen sponsors out there who want to align themselves with one of the top sim racers in the world, here's your chance. Journey needs a new wheel. So if
I need the house. Oh, he's got to run.
He's
got to run. Patel trying to defend it, but he can't. Journey Simičić up the inside. Can he get it through? Yes, he can. Patel's going to come back at him, but he goes defensive. That's a fantastic move from Simičić. Patel now trying to go around the outside. It made Simičić's line a very tight one. Would have compromised his speed a little bit, but what a phenomenal drive there from Simičić. I think Patel is going to be in the pits right now.
And Simičić is saying to Briac, oh, can I have some DRS? Can you do the same for me?
I wouldn't be surprised. I think Patel's got to pit. He's got to. He's got to make a move. No, he's not.
He needs to stay out longer. The tires of
Yeah,
Journey and
they're
Mitchie
18
will
laps from home.
have to die soon. They will.
So-
I think they will wait until like 15 or 14 laps to go and then switch on to another set of super softs.
Yeah, this is going to be intriguing now. Who's going to blink first? Who's going to pull the trigger on an undercut? Because out of these 4 cars, a good pit stop, good in-lap, good pit stop and a good out-lap could put you in the front of this group of 4 cars very, very easily.
Now, is Michi Hoyer close enough to attack Mohamed Patel? Patel's still got DRS, so I don't think he's going to be close enough. Simičić is gaining on Braliak. Is he going to have a look up the inside? He does have a look. He goes for it. That's very, very risky, but he's made the move stick. That's fantastic from Journey Simičić.
Massive attack on brakes from 310 kilometres an hour into a 3rd gear chicane. Awesome drive from Journey Simičić.
If I tried braking that late, I'd still be slowing down now. That was ridiculous.
What a stunning bit of work from Journey. Now, we've got to be close to the witching hour, as I call it, on these super softs now of Journey. But he's holding the upper hand now. He's the guy in clear air. He's out of the turbulent air now from these other blokes. But of course, Briac can keep using DRS. But Journey's got clear air.
I just want to give a quick update on what's happening a little bit further down the field. Behind the top 5 runners who are oh so close, it's ridiculous. We've got Eros Masciuli, we're battling with Jim Parisis, and then Sander Callas not too far behind them. We do have a couple of battles going on a little bit further down the order, but obviously those top 5 is what we're keeping an eye on.
James Sadler up in the points now in 10th place, having started from pit lane, so he's probably quietly satisfied with getting that far up the grid. Paris is pitting, by the way.
Yep, so that'll be Jim's final stop, I reckon. There is a couple of battles, as I mentioned, going on a little further down. Remco Major coming under attack from Marco Conti. George Manasakis not too far behind them, coming under attack from Felix van Delft. Florian Becker still going. Wojciech Lukaszek out of the race, unfortunately. Up at the front, though, Michele D'Alessandro's got a nice, healthy lead. Simičić running in second. Let's see, is Mitch been able to make any gains?
Briac, by the way, Briac had DRS on Simičić down the Mistral Straight just this time round and did not put a dent in Simičić. So I think Simičić got his car set for a good top speed.
Michi Hoyer is looking a little bit feisty behind Mohamed Patel. I mean, you know Michi Hoyer, Dave. What do you think will be going through his mind, having watched Journey Simičić pass both of these guys? What's going to be going through his mind now?
An undercut.
It's not, I'm going to go and do that as well.
Well, we're now at 15 laps to run. We're an easy soft tyre stint from home. And it's 2 laps, and it's conceivable that they can do a super soft stint. Well, Hoyer did his tyre change on lap 25. It's now lap 38. So he's done 13 laps on the super softs.
Just looking at the back, Marco Conti just made a move onto Remco Major on the back straight, and now George Manusakis is close to Remco Major as well. Trying to make a move into the flat-out right-hander at the end of the straight, and is able to make it stick.
As we mentioned earlier on, a lot of pride to be fought for out there, and these guys are definitely putting all of their pride on the line.
There was a bit of wheel banging involved in that pass too that you've just called.
I mentioned, you'd mentioned a moment ago, Dave, that Jim Parisis was heading into the pits. He's come out on the soft compound tyre, like you said, safely get to the end of the race on the soft tyre. But right behind him, Eros Masciuli is also pitted. He's put on the super soft tyre. So those two different compounds of tyre battling all the way to the end. Although Masciuli's got a run on him now, heading up towards the chicane. The super soft tyre has been the superior tyre when it comes to making overtakes. And up the inside, he goes up to 8th place for Eros Masciuli. Up at the front, though, has the gap come down to Michele D'Alessandro?
No, 5.6. Hoyer has now pitted. He's decided to go for that undercut, so Michi is now going to be looking for the outlap of all outlaps to consolidate his position and hopefully jump some people. And he's hoping that Journey is going to harass them enough
And
to
looks
make
like
their
he's
lap
doing
slower than his lap.
super softs again. Hoyer's on super.
Yeah, he is
Okay.
going super soft. So he's got a good chance of getting an undercut on both Patel and Peter Breliak. Oh,
Well,
God,
indeed,
this
because
is so
they're on
tense.
pretty old mediums now.
Yeah.
So Hoyer will be pushing like absolute mad on this outlap. The super soft comes alive pretty darn quickly. He might have lowered his rear anti roll bar for the outlap, or certainly the first half of the lap, just so we can really put the cash on the table in sector 1. But now as the rears come in, he can stiffen up that anti roll bar. Sorry to talk such technical rubbish. But Mishi is going to be absolutely pushing like a madman. Let's see what happens.
It's teetering between sort of 18, 19 seconds between Hoyer and Patel. So Michi Hoyer needs to gain another second or two if he can. Is either the race leader, he's not heading for the pit lane, is Yerny Simicic? Yes, he is. Peter Breliak is
sense.
not. And neither is Mohamed Patel.
Well, you know what? These guys they're both world champions. I think they might have erred there because Simicic is going to the faster tyre. Hoyer's on the faster tyre. We could be seeing a fabulous strategy unfold here.
We definitely could. Maybe Breliak and Patel don't think they can do that amount of laps on the super soft tyre. Or they've just been saving a lot of fuel so that when they do put the super soft tyre on, they can push considerably more. And to be able to do that, they need less laps to complete.
Yeah, that definitely is a possibility.
I mean,
in the meantime,
look at how close Michi Hoyer is to Simicic. That's how much of an undercut Michi Hoyer's have on Mohamed Patel.
Which in theory puts him right where Briak was in terms of the gap to Simicic. So it certainly didn't hurt Hoyer, that early pit stop. And Patel and Briak have not attempted to cover them. What are these lap times looking like? Briak's lit the wick. He's doing a 30.5, a 30.9, but
just want to mention as well, Jim Parisis, I think, is about to get passed again by Eros Masciuli. I think Parisis must have got back ahead of him. Here comes Masciuli up the inside again. Now, these two definitely having fun out there today. Well, actually, they might not be having fun. They might be really doing each other's head in. But fantastic racing from the two of them. Different compounds, plenty of different action.
And Briak and Patel pitting. So let's see how this unfolds. This is going to be very, very exciting. Simicic just arriving at the final turn, the punt turn. Patel certainly just leaving his pit box, as is Briak. Simicic is
close.
Full noise pit straight, and he has cleared them. And Hoyer has cleared them as well. The ACR guys have gotten out in front of the two Musto drivers. Sensational undercut from both drivers. Amazing.
It is. It's fantastic stuff. However, when these tyres hit the cliff, they hit the cliff hard. So for Mohamed Patel and Peter Breliak, they now need to apply as much pressure as they can, because those 1 or 2 extra laps that the ACR guys have done could be the difference between a second and third, or a fourth and fifth.
Parisis and Masciuli side by side, turn 1 and turn 2. A little bit of contact out of turn 2, and they're still side by side going into turn 3 now.
Quite a bit of wheel banging there from these guys.
I think there might be a little bit more. I don't know what's got into these two today, but they've definitely been attacking each other plenty. I mean, on the back straight...
I thought Jim Parisis was only really racy at Albert Park, but he's proving me wrong there.
He obviously likes Paul Ricard as well.
And now
but again...
Masciuli will have DS again now. He will make a move into chicane, definitely. Going to the inside of Parisis now, and is ahead again.
This is just, with 12 laps to go, this race has just been turned on its head, because we had an orderly procession of D'Alessandro, Briak, Patel, and Hoyer and Simicic had just turned that upside down.
Parisis is making a move into the flat out right hand there. They're going side by side through the corner, a little bit of wheel banging there.
Oh, this is a very feisty battle between these two guys.
Could that be a difference in setups? 1 low aeros, 1 high aeros. That's why Masciuli's making the move on the straights, but then being passed on the corners.
Back to the front, Michi Hoyer is getting closer to Simicic. And Priliak and Patel are closing up to Michi Hoyer, especially Priliak. Patel has kind of a
four
gap
cars
now.
within 2.5 seconds currently, fighting for P2.
Michele D'Alessandro's got to be thinking about pitting soon. I mean, if the pit stop what do you say? What, Dave? 17, 18 seconds. So he's still got a fall. Oh, is that Breliak? It is. Breliak's having a run on Michi Hoyer. Michi Hoyer goes defensive. This could get interested into the chicane. Peter Breliak around the outside. Michi Hoyer fights it hard. Contacted around. There you go.
Oh, they've spun. Oh dear. Racing incident, both of them side by side. Both entitled to racing room, just slightly misjudged.
It's a racing incident. Oh no, I've only one. I wouldn't even like to try and make a call on that one.
Yeah, well, I'd need to look at a replay about 4 times to get that right. But they hit side by side. They were both beside each other. I don't know. But wow, so Hoyer and Patel have now taken themselves out of the hunt for P2, really.
I would just show a quick replay of the incident from the onboard of Peter Breliak.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see.
So yeah, they're going side by side. Oh, yeah, that's hard to judge. Who is at fault there?
Now, luckily for both of those guys, they had enough of a gap to the car behind.
Move into turn 1 on Michi Hoyer, and this time, without contact, Breliak is past Michi Hoyer.
He definitely is now.
So Hoyer is going to want to have DRS.
I don't think that's it. A spin like that will absolutely destroy your tyres, even only a small spin like that. So it is possible that Michi Hoyer's tyres are absolutely pretty much dead, and he needs to cool them down. As many of us know that have been involved in spins, it doesn't take much of a direction change to put way too much temperature through the tyres. But Michi Hoyer is having a look at
again. It's a photocopy of the previous one. And let's see if they can. Oh, they're going to touch again. Breliak backs. Michi Hoyer gets throttled over on those hot rear tyres, and Breliak manages to hold position. These guys are fighting very hard on their wounded tyres.
Yeah, while all that's been happening, Michele D'Alessandro has been continuing on, but now he is into the pit lane for what will certainly be a set of the super soft tyres to get him to the end of the race. Yes, it is. Yerny Simčić, I don't think he's going to be anywhere near close enough to do anything about Michele D'Alessandro, and also D'Alessandro will be able to push nice and hard if he wants, because his tyres haven't got that many laps to do. Milos Masciuli and Jim Paris is still going at it.
Well, and the gap between Patel and Simčić is, if anything, is extended a little. There's a good second and a half between them. So
sorry, you had Sergi Harris and James Hadler side by side in the chicane. They're still... Sergio's still trying to get past him before the right-hander.
And this is the battle for the final point, which I think James Sadler, seeing as he's gone from pit lane, as Dave mentioned, from pit lane to P10, he's going to give it everything he's got to keep hold of it. But Sergi Harris is a very accomplished driver, and on those super soft tyres will be giving it everything he has got. I must admit, Masciuli and Paris, the position they're in at the moment, if they battle too hard, they could cost themselves a nice handful of points. And their battles they've been having has allowed Sander Kallas to close in on them. So what was a 2-car battle is about to become a 3-car battle. This has been a phenomenal race,
Yeah, incredible. Simčić has got now just a shy of 2-second lead on Patel, which he's got to be pretty happy about. But as you said, Dave, there's a bit of tyre degradation can come into play. We've got 9 laps to go in this race. And of course, Simčić took his tyres a little earlier than Patel. So it can certainly still happen that Simčić suffers a bit from deg. But he's made enough space now that he can just start to look after tyres a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. There's been so much action going on, and I still don't think we're finished. I'm keeping an eye on this battle for 6th place. The battle for 10th is still good. Actually, the battle for 10th is really, really close. It is really close, if I can get on board with it. Yeah, Sadler
Harris
just ahead.
Right on Sadler as they enter the double right-hander. The Bousset. Harris certainly looking ambitious and putting Sadler under a lot of pressure.
Michi Hoyer is gaining again on Peter Breliak, who's not got DRS. Excuse me, he's not got DRS, but he has been able to close the gap up. So he has been able to cool his tyres down Oh, going for the moves, going for the move. Peter
Well,
Breliak's got a
Briac has
problem.
suffered. There's something gone wrong with Briac there. Briac's suffering. What is going on?
Yeah, he had. I don't know if he got a little bit out of shape, but he was very, very slow on the exit of the chicane, and that's just gifted Michi Hoyer the position. That's desperately unlucky for Peter Breliak and a gift for Michi Hoyer. This battle, 6th, 7th, 8th, is getting closer and closer, but there's still only half a second between Sadler and Sergei Edas. Fantastic stuff. As Michele D'Alessandro goes, you know what, Journey, don't even try. Don't even try catching me, because this is the lap time I can do, so don't even bother.
I'll take a quick look at the replay of Peter Breliak. See.
His car seems to be working okay now, but that was a very slow lap. It was a 1:33.6.
He just didn't have any acceleration out of the chicane. Maybe.
Peter, you might want to have a look at Edas. He's just had a spin through the chicane. I don't know if there was contact with James Sadler. They got ever so close. But Sergei Edas has now been dropped down to 12th.
I'll take a look what happened there. So, he had DRS. He made a move on the braking around the outside and let's see. Oh yeah, there was a bit of contact on the apex at the chicane, and Sergi got spun onto the gravel.
Okay, unlucky for the both of them. On board with Jim Paresis, because he's about to make a move, I think. Because if he doesn't, he's going to get passed by Sander Callas. Both of these guys hunting down Eros Mashiuli. So what can Jim Paresis do? He's gaining. I don't think he's gaining enough. He hasn't got it in a straight line anymore. He can't even throw it up the inside, and Sander Callas is playing a bit of a patient game up at the front though. Mohamed Patel is trying to gain on Yerny Simincic. He's got fresher tyres, so he can push a little bit harder, but he's 1.5 seconds behind Simincic. Oh, it's still kicking off everywhere, Dave. What have you got your eye on?
Well, I was just going to rewind and look at Peter Briac and that issue that he had exiting the chicane, because one thing that crossed my mind, something happened to him in Silverstone 2 years ago. He'd cut the track, and I was wondering if in fact he'd decided to lift so that the cut wouldn't be counted against him. So I'm just on board with him now.
Well, it is a new rule that FSR have brought in this season when it comes to cuts. If you do a significant lift or hit the brakes, not hit the brakes, but you apply the brake, you can avoid getting penalised for it. And I must admit that is a ruling that I do like, because sometimes you do run wide a little bit, or you could have cornered a little bit, and having that opportunity to go, my bad.
What I think might have happened is because of the incident earlier between Breliak and Michi Hoyer, maybe his race engineer said to Peter Breliak, give him the position, it might have been our fault.
Good point.
Yeah, that's indeed possible.
We'll see.
And I'm just
Dave,
on board
have you
now,
seen anything?
going back through it. And I'm going to look at his throttle inputs. Yeah, he's gifted in the position. Now, Briac was only on about 80% throttle when that pass occurred, so it wasn't a traction issue.
Yeah, Peter
Briac
might have been right
literally
then.
gave him the position back, so I think you've put it correctly.
Okay, bonus points to Peter Schulze for getting that one absolutely spot on. And let's see, what have we got going on? We've got Breliak closing in.
Mayor and Marco Conti are close as well, battling through turn 3 right now. Our Halo-driven Remco Mayor is probably making a move on the back straight onto David Greco. Marco Conti, I mean.
Mohamed Patel is within DRS range. He's closed the gap enough to get DRS on this occasion. They're just getting onto the back straight now, but Yerny Simincic, I think it said Cerny Jimincic. Yerny Simincic, that's his drunken name, by the way. When he's had a few, it's Cerny Jimincic. I was going to say, Simincic is a wily young fox. He won't want to get beat in a straight line. He will use everything that car has got to keep Mohamed Patel behind him, and he does. Jim Paresis, Sander Callas making moves.
Briac attacking Hoyer yet again into the chicane.
Good luck, Peter.
Briac this time has got the upper hand and executes the pass very clinically. And takes
so
back
we've
that
got to look at
position
Patel. We've got to look at
couple
Patel.
laps
He's
ago.
all over the back of Yerny Simincic. He is really applying the pressure. But this Simincic will be running lowest fuel mode in the corners, saying you're not coming past me here to run highest on straight. Sorry, Peter. Go on.
Michi Hoyer pressuring Peter Breliak as well, and Sander Callas passed Jim Paresis earlier as well.
Well, if anyone wanted a lazy Sunday afternoon, you've not got one if you're watching this, that's for certain. Mohamed Patel is within DRS range. DRS open. Is he going to try and make the move into turn one?
Simic should move left, yeah, forcing Patel to go the long way around. Patel to go the long way around, and Patel does. And Simic does very well to hold that. He's coming back at him. Goodness, this is a fight.
It is, and Simic has got to be clever. He can get DRS back, but you may not have seen it yet, Dave. In Bahrain, Mohamed Patel was not shy of using quali boost mode to give himself a bit of extra straight line speed. You can't use it for long, but he will use it if he needs to. So here comes your Simic. He will have DRS. He's making a run. Is he going to try and do what he did earlier on? Mohamed Patel says no thanks. Around the outside, can he keep it on the track? Yeah, he can. Is Patel going to get a switch back? No, he holds it around the outside. What
Simic just gave too acute a line, and Patel managed to roll through the corner, carrying greater corner speed. Fabulous racing from these guys.
Great stuff.
Simic is going to come back at him again. In the meantime, Hoyer's dropped off the back of Briac again. This is it's now turned again.
Fantastic stuff. I'm just having a quick look at this battle. 6th, 7th, 8th. Sander Callas still trying to make gains on Eros Masciuli, which he is managing to do very, very slowly. Paris is still there in the fight as well. Zappola got nobody around him. He'll be feeling a bit lonely. James Sadler has a bit of a gap now to Sergi Eras. That's 10th to 11th. But 11th, 12th, 13th, not much between them at all. Marco Conti still battling with Remco Major. Felix van Dijk trying to get in on that action as well. Florian Becker a little bit too far back.
So Simic will still be within DRS range again. He just needs a really tidy Sector 1. And Simic has been pretty strong through Sector 1. So yeah, he's very close, well within DRS. Maybe 0.4 of a second perhaps.
It looks like
maybe even a little
Florian
closer than
Becker
last
making
time
a
round.
pit stop, yeah.
Yes.
Simic, I don't know if he's going to have the straight line speed. I don't know if he's going to have to do some kind of bonsai move, but is he going to try? He is. He's going to have a look. No, he backs out of it. I think he was just letting Mohamed Patel know, you leave the door open, I'm walking straight on through and robbing everything from you.
Looks like Manassakis is retired, or is that old news?
No, that's he just retired.
Yeah, Manasakis has DNF'd. Sander Callas is within DRS range again of Eros Masciuli. Is he going to be able to make a move? Yes, he is. He's going in too quick to not have a go. Around the outside into the chicane. We saw Simic try it. It makes the second part so tight, and it was Masciuli fighting back. They're going to go side by side down towards the flat out right-hander. Who's going to have the corner? Who's got the biggest walnuts? Oh, bit of contact. Bit of contact. That's Sander Callas off the track. He will not be pleased about that one. Oh, but still plenty of action kicking off down there. We're nearly onto the last lap, guys, and it's all still kicking off.
Okay, well, Simic enters Sector 1 again, very close to the rear of Patel. He's just got to close up a little bit closer than he was last time around, and I think he has. He's right on the gearbox of Patel as they exit complex onto Mistral Straight. And Simic will open DRS, go full noise. And is he close enough? Is Felix van Delft going to give a bit of a draft to Patel? I think he's a touch closer, but no, it's not close enough.
He's lifting at the end of the straight to save enough fuel to have a higher fuel mode on the last lap.
Okay.
Tense stuff there. Felix van Delft moves out of the way. I thought it may have compromised one of the guys. No, Mohamed Patel and Simic still, so 0.3 of a second.
Sander Callas, Jim Paresis and Eros Masciuli are still close to each other going down the back straight.
Aren't they? Hoyer, it looks like, has just backed it off and bringing it home now. Perhaps on tyres that are past their best.
Yeah, with him pitting earlier, there was always a possibility that they were going to suffer a little bit too much. Simic is really, really, really close. He's going to have DRS down the back straight. I don't think he's going to make a move. We are on to the last lap of the race. So it's going to be all or nothing on the back straight, I reckon. And this is tense times for Mohamed Patel, for Yerny Simicic. D'Alessandro, though, he'll be loving this. Forgot to mention as well, last time out, he won the race in Bahrain. It was also his birthday. Forgot to mention that on the broadcast. So happy birthday to him for a couple of weeks ago. But what can Yerny Simicic do? He is oh so close. Patel could be a sitting duck.
He's looking keen.
This
so
is where
mix
Patel,
up to
though,
7.
Patel's going to use Cube Qualibo boost.
Open.
No, he isn't.
Bit of a boost. He's got some overspeed this time. He needs the inside. He needs. Oh no, Patel has forced him to go around the outside. Oh, is he going to pull it off? It's a bit of a photocopy of the previous one. Patel just gets a line around the outside and just manages to carry enough corner speed. Now Simicic needs to go left and steer the racing line in this fast corner.
Simicic, don't do it.
You don't want to take it from there. Oh no, that's not going to work.
It was brave, but unfortunate. Michele D'Alessandro, then, he's coming into the final couple of corners now for his second victory in the World Championship this season.
Oh, Simicic just throwing it up the inside of Mohamed Patel. This was a close one as well.
Mental stuff. Michele D'Alessandro then does take the victory. Fantastic win for him. Patel and Simicic still ever so close. Simicic taking up by the line to go for a little bit of a switchback. Is he going to be able to do anything about it? No, he can't. Well, he's going to have DRS, but the run to the line is too short. Second and third.
And his engine is off.
Simicic threw absolutely everything at that.
Yeah, he did.
What a race,
Pedro
guys.
Breliak going to cross the line to take fourth. Michi Hoyer, he definitely did back it off. It's going to be a fifth place for him. And actually, Eros Masciuli is not that far behind Michi Hoyer now. So it's going to be sixth place for Eros Masciuli. And saying that, Sander Callas is right on his gearbox as well. Seventh for Sander Callas, eighth for Jim Paresis. What a fantastic battle those guys have been having throughout this race as well. Germano Zappola sitting in ninth with one more corner to go. Be good points for him. And James Sadler is in the final points paying position. 10th place from the pit lane. Sergi Eras, after his spin with a bit of contact, sitting in 11th. Probably the worst position to finish in, one place out. Oh, he's going to finish 11th. No, he's side by side with Martin Gosby. These two aren't done. These two are not finished as they cross the line. Couldn't have got any closer. It is 11th and 12th for them. Marco Conti took 13th place with, I believe, Remco Major 14th and Felix van Del 15th. Florian Becker 16th. But what a race. What a race.
Yeah, it was definitely a tale of two teams, wasn't it? Well, D'Alessandro doing a stunning drive out the front, so his second win on the trot. But Patel and Briac versus Simicic and Hoyer, that was a tale of two teams. Amazing strategic work there. Some great moves done by all of them.
Definitely. Okay, definitely was a great battle. And I mean, D'Alessandro was helped in the fact that those battles were happening. It meant he could just maximize his fuel usage, save what he needed, use what he needed, look after his tires. And there's nothing better than being in that situation and watching everybody else fight and that gap just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm going to quickly put out that question again I mentioned earlier on. I did want to mention it a few times during the race, but to be honest, there was just too much going on. And for anyone that's been watching thinking, oh, you missed that overtake, trust me, folks, it's not easy to keep up with every passing move that happens on the track when you've got action like we had today. Okay, so the question I put out there, if you have a guess at it, go for it. The question was, who was the last non-Ferrari, McLaren or Williams that won at Paul Ricard? And that's in official Formula 1, because you could say Michele D'Alessandro, but that wouldn't be the right answer. So, Dave, highlight of the race for you as you mull over your thoughts of what the answer to that question is, because it's not Nigel Mansell. So, highlight of the race for you.
Oh well, I think it was the strategic battle and the on-track battle that occurred between the pairings of Patel and Briac and Simicic and Hoyer. It was just amazing teamwork that they did to give each other a DRS tow and put themselves in such a competitive position. I mean, Hoyer and Simicic were really at the back end of that, and then on that final pit stop, undercut them, put themselves in front. But then, of course, Patel and Briac came back at them again. And Patel prevailed over Simicic, and Briac prevailed over Hoyer. But journey to get on the podium. I think from where he was languishing behind Hoyer for a while, yeah, that was just an amazing team battle. I mean, I've got to take my hat off to Michele for a stunning win, but I just found that inter-team battle to be quite intriguing.
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, it'd been very easy to have been watching that race and thinking the ACR guys have got absolutely no chance at a certain point to their strategy, but you got to say fair play to them, and that's one of the things I like about not having refueling and just opening up the strategy options for the drivers. Now, we are going to try and have a chat with Michele D'Alessandro, Mohamed Patel and Yerny Simoncic, but Mohamed Patel does need a couple of minutes. Obviously, he needs a bathroom break. But Michele D'Alessandro has joined us. Michele, a fantastic victory once again. It didn't, I mean, I don't mean any disrespect by this, but it didn't look as difficult as Bahrain. Did it feel that way today?
Yeah. Today, unexpectedly, it was easier compared to Bahrain. For some reason, we were a lot faster, especially at the end of the stint. But I didn't expect the Simoncic strategy with 3 super soft and 1 soft. That was really good from them. But we weren't able to make soft work. We had the same pace with soft and medium, and for some reason even more wear. So we had to go with mediums, and at the end it worked. I'm sorry for Peter that wasn't able to reach P3, but at the end as a team I think is a good result.
It definitely was. Now, I've just asked Dave what his highlight of the race was. Obviously, as a driver, you have a very different perspective of what happens on the track. So what was your highlight from that race today?
Well, considering the fact that I didn't have any fight, I would say the first 2 laps where I was able to open a gap to Simoncic, pull him out of DRS. And after that, we had the same pace. He had like a cliff 1 lap earlier, but that was the highlights of my race, because after that, all I had to do is manage, and guys behind me had to fight for part of the race. So they lost time, and this helped me.
Well, if it felt like a little bit of a boring one for you, just watch the race back, because everybody else had a great time. Dave, any questions for Michele D'Alessandro?
Oh, I was just going to ask Michele. I think you were the last guy to pit on the first stint off your super soft tyres that you used. Were you waiting to let the other guys pit, or was always your intended pit window? I think you went 11 or 12 laps or more.
The goal at the start of the race was to do 12, because we noticed during the practice that if you can save 1 lap in a random stint with tires, it can help you a lot with the pace. You can gain quite a lot, and so I did the last lap with part of cliff, but yeah, that was the strategy.
Okay. Well, congratulations on a fantastic drive.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, congratulations. Quickly move over to Mohamed Patel. Me and Dave are exhausted talking about what you guys have been doing out on track today. I wouldn't be surprised if you're a little bit exhausted from an interesting race there.
Yeah, this race was crazy, to be honest, but first of all, hats off to Michele. He's done a great job. We worked really hard on the setup, and for sure the tie data helped us make sure that we were really fast this race. But I'm a bit disappointed by my own drive today, because I was slow and had worse wear, and a lot worse wear than in practice, so I'm a bit confused as to why that happened. And so I probably hindered Peter's race a little bit in the second stint of the race. And then because of him, to be honest, I'm where I am. I'm second because he tagged me along for an entire medium stint. So I was lucky to have that. So on a personal point, the first 3 quarters of the race was horrible. And then the last stint, me and Yerny had an amazing fight. First of all, I didn't think I would overtake him, because I knew he had only 1 lap older tyres than me. So I got lucky to get the job done, and then had some like scary moments to keep the position. Just about held it on the last lap. I hope it's clean. I think it is. I'm pretty sure it's okay, but we'll see. We'll see.
I mentioned on the broadcast, he's going to use Q boost. He's going to use Q boost. Did you?
I think it was used a couple of times in the race. So Yone used it for sure when he overtook me the first time, and then in those last 5 laps, I must have used it for a couple of seconds, probably to make the overtake, and then once maybe to defend it. But I didn't want. You don't know. It's a fine margin, so you look like a hero if you've used it and you finish the race in P2, and you look like an absolute fool if you've blown your engine on the last lap. And throwing away 15 or 18 points doesn't look so clever on your half. So
definitely. I'm pretty sure that David O'Reilly's got a couple of questions for you, because I know I've got a couple if he doesn't ask them. So
yeah,
Dave,
I was just going to ask Mo. It looked from the outside that you and Peter were definitely working as a team to try and give each other a bit of a tow and try to make some inroads on the gap to Yerny and Mishi. How consciously was that happening, or were you just saying, well, I'm just going to follow you and we'll see where we end up?
So in the super soft stint, I had not so great wear, but I maintained the pace, trying not to hold Petter up as much as possible. I didn't really try to fight him to stay away from DRS range, because I didn't see a point of me wasting fuel and Petter wasting fuel. I knew because I had worse wear, he would catch me inevitably. So there's no point me wasting ourselves fuel to do that. And then equally in the medium stint, I knew that the wear wasn't so good, and I had to do an extra lap compared to him, which meant that I couldn't push as much as what we wanted to. So again, there was no real need for me to maintain a position and make us both go slower. But it wasn't like we planned it per se, it was just common sense. I'm a bit disappointed for him, that's all, because 1, 2, 3 would have been the perfect scenario, and who knows, because Petter had a bit better pace than me today, and better wear, so who knows what could have happened. But
well, it was certainly from our perspective, and hopefully from the viewer's perspective, it was an amazing tactical battle, seeing your pairing versus the Journey and Mishi Hoyer pairing, duking it out on pace on the track and on pit stops. It was an intriguing battle, so thanks for treating us to that.
It was a bit weird because the problem for us was that Hoyer could go really aggressive on stints, although his wear wasn't so good because of the massive gap that they had behind. So we knew that he would be a thorn in the race for us, make the pass done, because he could be Yerne's rear gunner. But yeah, unfortunately, Petter and Michi made contact. I don't know what happened or who's at fault, but I think Petter gave the position back to make sure, in case it was his fault, which we are not sure if it is, to make it as clean as possible and then get the job done again cleanly.
Yeah, well, that was probably a cautious and wise thing to do rather than a clearly necessary thing to do from what I saw. But you guys will look at the replay and make your own call on that. But fabulous racing, really. It was very, very enjoyable. So well done on your P2.
Yep, and congratulations there, Mohammed Patel. I may come back to you as well in a moment, because I just want to get to Yerny Simoncic before he falls asleep from exhaustion. Yerny, P3, there were parts of that race where perhaps myself and even some of the viewers were thinking ACR have gone the wrong way with strategy here, but you soon turned it around. How enjoyable was that closing in on Mohammed Patel, Petter Braliak, making those moves? And to be fair, one of the craziest but best overtakes many of us have probably seen. How enjoyable was that fight?
It was very enjoyable, except for the fact that I knew that because I have to fight, I will not win. I knew that I could keep up with Michele. I think I had good enough strategy for that and good enough tire, but I was surprised to see all of them pitting quite early in the first stint. So then, yeah, Michi said they are on super soft, so I knew that I had no chance. So I just saw a big gap behind, so I told myself, let's go soft and attack later in the race. And then, of course, the DRS block happened, and I had my only chance to get anywhere was to burn half the tank in time of 5 laps. And after that, I could just hope that I would keep it ahead. Yeah, at the end, the last lap was quite nice, but I think I had enough. I mean, I think I could have put it side by side over the line, but unfortunately I had like 0 fuel right on the line, so the engine was already dying out of the last corner. So.
Now that is what you call pushing it to the limit. Our broadcaster, Peter Schulze, shouldn't call him Peter Schulze, he mentioned he saw a couple of times, it looked like you had double up shifts at points where you may have been able to attack. Was that a problem for you?
Yeah, I had some problems with my steering wheel. At the moment they're like 3 buttons aren't working properly, 1 button is completely off, and the downshift button has like totally destroyed wiring. I still don't know how it still recognizes the input.
Well, if you can go that quick with a wheel that's basically not a wheel anymore, it'd be interesting to see what you could do with one that works properly.
I think that there might be a sponsorship opportunity out there for a keen company to put its name on Journey Simicic's car.
Yep, I'd go down that route, definitely. Okay, Dave, any questions for Mr. Cerny Jimincic? He won't get that until he watches this back.
Given a really good explanation of his strategy and what was going on, but I've just got to salute you on I've never seen anybody fight so hard to get a pass in the final lap as you fought to get that pass on Mo. That was some amazing driving, and it entertained us all. The battle that you and Michi had against 2 Musto drivers, just fantastic. So brilliant afternoon's racing journey and really enjoyable.
Yeah, congratulations to all of our podium sitters, but don't run away just yet. I put a question out there earlier on to the viewers and to Mr. O'Reilly. I'm going to put it to you 3 as well. See if any of you are knowledgeable enough to know the answer, although none of you were born when this happened. So a quick question for you guys. Talking about asking a question at the worst possible time. They're knackered. They've just done a race. They want to go and get a drink. But if you can answer this. Who was the last non-Ferrari, McLaren or Williams that won in Paul Ricard?
I didn't even know they raced in Paul Ricard's.
Not Ferrari.
Talk about being young. I didn't even know it existed before I was born.
Yeah,
I bet you never
they
even
raced
seen
there
a
from
TV with a big
1970
box
to
on the back.
1990. Did you guys miss those races?
I wasn't born.
Well, that's a good excuse.
It is. So come on, at least have a guess.
Ligier.
Oh, no.
I would say Lotus.
Not bad.
No idea. I didn't follow it a lot. I don't have a lot of info of what happened 30 years ago.
Come on, Dave. Put it out of a mystery.
Okay, I will. I'll put you out of your misery. Okay. The last non-Ferrari, McLaren or Williams team to win at Paul Ricard was a Brabham BMW, and the driver was Nelson Piquet.
Mo, why did you know that?
I didn't know
either.
Know that? I had to Google it to get the question, but that's beyond the point. Anyway, Thank you very much to our podium sitters. That has been one hell of a race, and hopefully you'll enjoy watching that one back. A fantastic, fantastic showing today. To all of the rest of the drivers, congratulations to those who are going to the points, commiserations to those who did not. For the viewers, if you want to get involved in Formula Sim Racing, check out the forums. The car is available to download for free. I believe it's also on Steam now. Check the links in the description for that. And don't forget, you can also follow Formula Sim Racing on Twitter. The info for that is shown on the screen right now. And finally, just want to thank David O'Reilly for joining us in the commentary box again.
Yeah, my pleasure, Dave. And I look forward to seeing all the audience at our next race, which is on May the 6th at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Canada.
Yep, where I'm sure Dave will be giving us another French lesson. Final thank you to final thank you to Peter Schulze for doing the broadcast today, and to our race directors. Without those guys, the races would not go ahead. Make sure you check out the links, the descriptions, like and subscribe, tell your friends, and even if Formula One is on at the same time we are, come and watch us. It's more exciting. Okay, we'll see you at the next race.